we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the Straight Chillin' Crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another definitive episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 455, recorded Thursday, December 21st, 2023. Tonight, it's our last show of the year. We are talking about our top 10 horror movies of 2023. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
What's going on, children?
How do, buddy? It's good to see you. I'm excited to wrap this goddamn year right the fuck up. How about you?
Wrapping it up, putting a bow on top, and leaving it underneath your tree. Merry
23
Christmas.
might be one best left in the record books.
Yes, indeedly. Last but not least, calling in from Florida, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Soju. Cheers, boys. Happy New Year.
Cheers.
Give me a little
Popping
kiss.
bottles.
Mwah.
Oh, yeah.
Mwah.
With tongue.
About to be on the mic for 3 hours. I can't have any alcohol right now.
You didn't get a fresh bottle of Red Stag, Randy? What are you doing?
I
Randy,
didn't, you know.
what?
Those days are done. Those days.
Doubt it.
Those days died before 2023 died. I tell you that.
Nah. So you got a bottle of Malort then. That's right. That'll work.
I do, but it will remain undrank until I'm dead.
Damn. Clean out the toilet bowl with it.
Maybe.
So yeah, we're talking about our top 10 of the year. We're also going to do like a bottom 3 of the year. We'll talk about some honorable mentions as well after that. And then we're going to get into some trends of 2023 that we noticed in the horror space. And then we'll kind of recap this year. And then in the show, talking about horror movies that are coming out in 2024, stuff we might be looking forward to reviewing next year. So it'll be a little bit different, but before we get into everything, let's talk about just a little bit of housekeeping. It's your final reminder here. We do have our January poll currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this January. The theme is, of course, shit we missed in 2023. And there were a lot of movies that we didn't get a chance to talk about. There's 6 up there for you to vote on. They are, of course, Mithrigan, No One Will Save You, Onyx the Fortuitous, They Clone Tyrone, VHS 85, and When Evil Lurks.
Whoa, Bob, heading out of 2023. How are those numbers looking?
Roughly the same as last week, or really 3 days ago, the last time
Yeah.
we recorded.
Bob, you're breaking the illusion.
Slight changes.
The illusion.
I start the episode by saying the date of the recording.
Christmas was so great, guys.
You broke the illusion.
They don't know when in time we are.
I won the lottery. I'm a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. When Evil Lurks is still on top, then Mithrigan, and then you got VHS 85, and then a tie between No One Will Save You and They Clone Tyrone, and Onyx still got that one single vote.
There you go, Onyx.
Those are rookie numbers.
Straight
Those
to
are
the top.
rookie numbers. Straight to the top. Get your votes in before the end of the month. We'll see what movie we're talking about this January. Dropping a mini cast every other Friday. This past Friday, we have just dropped a new episode. Your boy Randeezy's talking about the latest Nick Cage hotness. The movie is Dream Scenario. Check it out.
That's true.
On Patreon. Randy loved it.
Randy, actually, since Nick Cage has like 5 films since we established last episode, I'm actually not familiar with this one. Give me a little plot synopsis real quick, just like an overview.
The synopsis is extraordinarily interesting. Actually, it's not extraordinary. That's overselling it. It's an interesting premise. So this guy, played by Nick Cage, is a meek man who's an academic, who's very, whatever, kind of in the background of everything, and he suddenly starts appearing in a shit ton of people's dreams for no apparent reason.
Oh,
And he becomes like an overnight celebrity, and then the celebrity turns a little bit sour, and then he becomes a nightmare for everybody.
whoa.
And yeah, that's the less said from there, the better. It's an interesting movie.
Damn. All right.
That sounds cool. It's A24, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah, yeah. It's
All
a
right.
very, very like I saw that trailer. I was like, fuck, this is like Freddy. It's like Freddy Krueger minus the like, you know,
Pedophile aspects.
the pedophile rapist product of 10,000 Maniacs situation going on.
Gotcha.
Then I don't want to see it.
Okay, well,
Then don't.
that's a
Just
mood.
kidding. I do want to see it actually. I saw the trailer.
Do your
trailer
thing.
looks pretty dope. So yeah, I'll check that out eventually. Check out Randy's thoughts on Dream Scenario over on Patreon right now. And that's really all I got for Patreon. Do you guys have anything you want to plug for the end of the year?
Just by now that the second part of my Arctic Monkeys feature has came out on Christmas Eve. So you can check that out. That's on the podcast Don't Believe the Hype. We did a 2-parter Christmas special, but you can listen after Christmas. It's not super Christmassy, so you can check that out.
Wow,
You don't have to be as strict as I
when
am.
it comes to products you have made. It's something that anybody can watch anytime at all. There's no.
Well, you
strict
can only
schedule.
watch Prometheus in December. I mean, that's the rules.
Very seasonal with their movies, but when it comes to
Rules.
things you want people to watch, anytime will do.
Yeah. So, but that's all my housekeeping.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that it's very possible that our houses are clean. What do you think, Bob?
Sounds good.
This house is clean.
Oh boys, we waited all year for the main event.
This is what it was all for.
It all comes down to tonight. Top 10 of 2023. Oh boys, goodness gracious. It is
Yes.
exciting. So if this is the first countdown show you guys have tuned into from Straight Chilling, the way we do it is we'll start from our bottom, number 10, work up to number 1. And if somebody throws a movie title out there that's higher up on somebody else's list, we'll put a pin in that movie until we get to the highest point on the lists, and then we'll all talk about that movie at the same time to avoid talking about the same movie 2, potentially 3 times. It just helps the flow of the show. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. Boys, who wants to kick us off? Number 10 on their list. Randy, you look like you can't wait to jump in.
I probably look like I'm arranging my list again for the
Oh,
70th time
God.
today. 'Cause that's what's happening.
Changing your
Um,
mind.
I have been like, this year is the only year so far that I in advance just kept track of everything I watched. I tried to like rearrange it every so often. So I've rearranged this list dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times, even before this month. And I'm still not happy with it. But I'm just gonna go ahead. I gotta lock it in. So I'm gonna start with my number 10, which is Godless: The Eastfield Exorcism, which is a film that we watched. Bob and I did at the Overlook Film Festival this year.
Mm.
It's an Aussie film, and it is, but for my money, the best possession film of the year. And there were some pretty big name contenders in that category. Yeah, I don't know. So, did you guys see this? Are you guys aware of this?
Yeah, I saw it as well via
Okay.
Overlook.
Okay, you did see it over. Okay, so yeah, this is an interesting sort of film in a possession horror canon because it is based on true events, but like for real, like not
Yeah.
just in name only. That's something I actually did not know going into this film. But it is a situation that happened in Australia. I don't remember the specifics too well at this point, but I thought that the performances in this were great. It's got a lot to say about the role of religion in society and the role of medicine. And I don't know, it's a very, very interesting case that they've chosen to depict on film. And I think that they did it capably well, with at least one character whose name I've forgotten, and he's a real person who I consider just a real rat bastard piece of shit.
Whoa.
That's at least one person. So
Great.
to get that, yeah, he got quite an emotional response out of me, this figure. And yeah, I don't know what else to say besides I really think this movie deserves to be seen a little bit more, to be talked about a little bit more. In a year that had Exorcist Believer, Evil Dead Rise, like who knows how many possession films. It had stiff competition, and I think it beats both of those out for my money.
So
Yeah.
I did want to make a quick note. I had this one that I was going to mention on my honorable mentions if nobody had it in their list. So Randy does, so I won't mention it. But I will say, with any movie, I try to look up today, since some of them we did cover in the festivals. I try to look up like where they would be available at this point, because some of them didn't get theater
Good call.
releases. This one is available on Tubi, and
Yeah.
so yeah, you can check
Nice.
it out for free. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Worth
definitely
watching.
seen it around maybe other
Definitely.
places too, but yes, that's
doesn't-
a good call.
It doesn't feel like stale. I feel like it's really difficult to make a really good exorcism movie because there's only like so many avenues to explore, and we've seen so many of them already. But it doesn't
Mhm.
feel stale. It's worth checking out if that's a subgenre that you're into. I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those
good
who are
one.
looking for like a different angle on religion in their horror movies, like we were talking about that with Exorcist Believer, they had a different angle, but this is one that functions properly because it's based on real things that happened.
Mhm.
So it has a lot to say about those sort of things. If you're into that too, I suggest this film.
Yeah, for sure. Check it out on Tubi. Cool. Juice, you want to go next, man? What's your number 10 spot?
Yeah, so my number 10 was going to be Onyx the Fortuitous. Does anybody else have it on their
Ooh.
list?
I
Yeah.
do.
Okay, I'll hold on to it then.
Stick a pin in that one. My number 10 spot, I'm going to give to a movie called We Might Hurt Each Other.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I haven't either.
So this is one of the movies that we watched. I believe it was for the Chattanooga Film Festival, and I did a little write-up on it. It's on the website if you guys want to read more thoughts that I had. So this is the first Lithuanian slasher movie ever made.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool setup for a slasher movie. It's these kids in Lithuania. They graduate high school. They want to have like one final party, one big blow up before they all like go their separate ways to colleges. And this one of the kids, his mom is a realtor, and she's trying to sell this house in the sticks. And he steals the keys, and they go there to have a big party. And they bring like a DJ setup, and they're having a rave like in the middle of the woods. And they find these like folk statue carvings, and they're getting high and drunk, and they just start defacing these sculptures. And the dude who made them doesn't really take too kindly to it. The slasher is like got some dimension to him. He's not just sort of like a faceless, voiceless hunk of flesh running around. It's fairly interesting. And also the kids aren't just like your super stereotypical red shirts. There's a little bit of dimension to them as well. And it's just like really beautifully shot too. I enjoyed this one a pretty good bit. It sticks the landing well. And I don't know that I've ever seen a Lithuanian movie at all before this. So
Yeah, that's news to me.
this one is on Screambox. I'm not sure if it's anywhere else, but it's definitely on Screambox. So you can check it out there if you'd like.
Yeah, it is Screambox. Never mind. It's on Amazon Prime, but it's through Screambox. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's my number 10 spot.
Nice. Yeah, I have
Nice.
to check that one out. I forgot. I remember you talking about it a lot, but I never checked it out. So put it at
Me
the
neither.
top of my list.
Do it.
oh man, the list is
Great.
gonna grow. Yeah. So
number 9, what you got?
my number 9. So my number 9 is one that we all covered on this here podcast back in the November times, and that was Thanksgiving. Eli Roth's return. Do you guys have that on your list as well?
Yes, I do.
You do. All right. We'll sit tight on that. How about you, Juice? What's your 9?
All right, we might have to sit tight again, but number 9 is They Clone Tyrone. Does anybody else have that one?
No.
I do indeed.
I didn't
All right.
think it was
Listen on that
horror
one.
enough to put on my list. That's the only reason it's
Oh,
not
really?
on my
Oh,
list.
okay.
Yeah.
no.
Oh, Bob.
Oh,
you
no.
fucked up.
Oh,
You fucked up.
I
Well-
gotta change everything.
Well,
Hold
I'll
on.
just sit over here and sip my cocktail then, Bob. Right back
My-
over to you.
My
None of my
cocktail.
business.
My number 9 spot I'm gonna give to Evil Dead Rise. You guys have it? No.
Not on my list. No.
Nope.
Okay.
It didn't
So-
squeak in.
As far as like the like bigger franchise sort of legacy sequels that came out this year, and there were many of them, Evil Dead Rise is really the only one that is worth watching at all. Really, I think. As far as Evil Dead movies go, I still think there isn't really a bad one. This one definitely pales in comparison to the originals, but it's still a movie that I really enjoyed watching in the theater. I think it's got some solid kills, and I like that they switched up the setting, even though it was still very much a contained environment. The cinematography was really great. The blood elevator I thought was a great moment, and the thing that really like set this movie out for me was the acting. I forget the actress's name, but the mom, when she gets possessed in this movie, just like really pushes it over the edge and does a fantastic job.
Alyssa Sutherland.
God, she's so good in this movie.
She is.
I also really like kind of the way they approached it, in that it seems like this movie and also Evil Dead movies going forward, they're going to be focused on these 3 books of the dead, and they're all a little bit different, and they can sort of be found in different places and in different times. And I think that's a really smart way to do it. So you're not you don't have to stick to these same characters and make a trilogy, which is what so many other franchises are trying to do. I think it opens it up a little more. Yeah.
I also like this movie for basically all the reasons you say, except like the 3 book thing. I like it on its face, but then I think that's just going to lead to further retconning in a series that's trying to correct that ongoing issue. So yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully not, but I think it's a smart way to approach it anyways, because in theory you shouldn't be tied to anything but just these books, So yeah, overall I thought it was pretty solid. Yeah, number 9.
Hell yeah.
Number 8 already, Brandy. What do you got?
Damn, that is crazy. So this is where I slotted in Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Ooh, now we can
Bob,
talk
did you put it on yours? I can't remember.
Yeah, I got a little higher.
Oh.
Okay. Don't get too excited,
Juice. You gotta open your mouth now. What your number 8, what you got?
Yeah, I don't think y'all will have this on here. I could be wrong though, but at number 8 I have In My Mother's Skin. Do you have?
Haven't seen it yet.
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Okay. All right.
You have sung this movie's praises more than once. So.
I have. So even I was like trying to push Bob like before the end of the year, try to get this one if you want like a maybe secret hidden gem that could skyrocket to the top. So this one, it's set in the Philippines during World War II. So it's kind of a period piece, which we just got with Godzilla as well. And the thing about this movie is it's got the setting like really carries a lot of weight, but not just that. It's got a lot of Del Toro vibes to it, to the point where kind of one of the main characters is kind of this fairy godmother-esque character. The not only like is the setting beautiful, but the costume designs, like if you just look up pictures of this, the way that the fairy is designed and stuff, it looks so good. It's so creative. It's based, I heard the guy the director do a Q&A, and he said it is based on this folklore that's like based in his like kind of hometown, that just gives it this really richness, but also it follows these 2 kind of kid actors, and that can be really hit or miss. And really the girl, the older sister, is the one who's like your main follow through. And she's just kind of like trying to get her family through the war. Her dad has to go off and like deal with some business stuff going on with the war. Her mom gets sick. She's taking care of her younger brother. So there's a lot of like real life horrors going on. And then you add in this element of kind of like what the fairy godmother thing is doing and how it plays out. And it's really good. Like it's really rich. It looks fantastic. It's great.
It sounds a lot like Pan's Labyrinth.
It is
in concept.
Yeah, because like the World War II thing or whatever, it's just it's different in a lot of key aspects, but it does have a lot of similarities. And I just think that this is one of like the best like hidden gems of the year. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will have to watch that, man. That sounds dope.
It is really available on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. Bob, your number 8?
My number 8 is When Evil Lurks. You guys have this?
I got that one a little bit higher.
Okay. Stick a pin
I completely
in it.
forgot to put that in my fucking list.
Oh
Damn.
boy, we all gotta redo
Oh,
our
well.
lists.
It's done.
Um,
The deed is done. I'm
yeah.
not. It's in stone.
Yeah, no worries, man. Randy, it goes to you then. You're number seven.
All right, that would have honestly been affected at least a few spots on here, but oh well.
What?
My number 7 is Infinity Pool. Any other Infinity Pool
Ah.
takers?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Oh,
hang on to
man.
it. We'll hang on to it.
Juice, you're number 7.
All right. I think I'll get to speak again. El Conde. El Conde. Anybody else
Yeah,
got that one?
Not on mine.
Nah.
No. Okay. So this is one I think I did a mini cast on as well, and it is another period piece. It is about a vampire who decides that he's going to kind of use his immortality to kind of just like affect a country. Like he becomes a dictator essentially. So kind of like what Dracula would be, but it's set in Argentina, I think. Is it Argentina? Something like it's set in South America. And there it does a lot of interesting aspects with vampire lore. Like he takes a bride that's not a vampire and they have kids. And he like they play with like how vampires age and like if you don't eat for a while, like stuff like that. And so it becomes this, it's black and white, it's in like 3 different languages. It plays with all of this like time periods and vampire lore, but it's also got a lot of kind of comedy to it because it kind of comes into this thing of like, if our father dies, will he turn us into vampires? Will we get his estate? But then there's also, because he's a dictator, that like church assigns this nun to like seduce him and kill him. So it's very interesting.
So we got sexy nun action in this?
Oh yeah, there's sexy
Oh,
nun action.
oh,
in
damn.
this.
All
Yeah,
right.
Around here,
I
that
know.
means big money.
Some I probably need to cover with Caitlin. But yeah, so yeah, it's just a very, very interesting film. It's like got all these different aspects to it. There was one scene that still like I remember distinctly in my mind that was like one of the most beautiful scenes I've seen this year. It just really hit me in the right way. And yeah, I think this is a very just unique, interesting movie.
Sounds like it.
Nice.
Sounds
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
I saw the
Awesome.
trailer and it's not what I expected out of just the whatever the poster, the streaming icon or whatever.
Yeah.
Very, very like I assumed it was like right up the same alley as the girl who walks home alone at night. Like that's just
Oh,
the
no,
vibe I
yeah.
got from the image, and it sounds very different than that.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
Nice.
Bob,
Number 7
number
goes
7.
to me. I have Thanksgiving at number 7.
Okay.
All right.
I do not have
Juice,
it higher,
For
no.
you?
Okay.
All right. Let's
All
talk
right.
about it.
Thanksgiving, the hands down my favorite Eli Roth movie thus far.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job cashing in on the Thanksgiving theme and ideas. The design of John Carver, the mask, the silhouettes, everything looks fantastic. There's a lot of really interesting kills. There's a lot of great comedy. The fucking accents in this movie were cracking me up with the dude that throws the party and he's like selling all these beer to these kids is fucking super hilarious. And I think it ultimately was probably a good idea to switch up from that like grindhouse aesthetic and update it a little more. I mean, it probably would have been cool either way, but I feel like that vibe is just a little like, I don't know. It's been done. Like, you know, 2006, 2007 was that when Grindhouse, the double feature came out. It's like so long ago.
Yeah.
And like, it feels like slashers are kind of having a decent moment now. So it's probably, I don't know if he was forced to do that or not, but either way, I think it's probably a decent idea to do that. And I don't know. I think it'll probably be an annual watch for me. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, it might be an annual watch for me as well. I think it's honestly like probably the best slasher of the year for me, for my money. It's just honestly like way better than I could have expected. I totally like, this is not a secret to anybody, but Eli Roth is also not my jam. I liked Cabin in the Woods, and that's just about it. I like this more than that. So definitely my favorite from him. And I don't know that I wouldn't have enjoyed a grindhouseier version of this as much personally. But I liked what we got. I thought that it was like creative enough, and it kept things moving, and it was tight. It did everything that you want out of a silly slasher movie, and all of those sort of like rough edges, maybe some of the performances and some of the other stuff, they were smoothed over real nice by the seasonality of it for my money. So yeah, I'm a fan. I like it.
So
John Carver.
full transparency from me. This is the one that got pushed out last minute change from 10 to 11. So it was right there. So yeah,
It would have been my 10.
Yeah.
I forgot when evil lurks.
Well, but yeah,
the
so
cuts.
I agree. This was probably the best slasher from the year.
Yeah. Good shit. Right on. Yeah, check out our full review of it. Came out a few weeks ago. If you want to hear us talk about it at length.
Yeah.
Getting into number 6, Randy. What you got?
Well, I have a feeling that at least one of you will have this, maybe both. Artifice Girl, I put on here.
Oh, that's the
I
one.
think it was
Yeah, I thought we
enough
said
again.
it was. I thought we had that discussion.
Did we agree on that? No, I
don't
don't remember having that discussion.
Oh, no?
I don't
Well, then
remember
I-
having that discussion.
Okay.
I don't
No,
think
but
so.
it's fine. Yeah, go for it.
Well, all right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say Artifice Girl, but I'm also going to say When Evil Lurks, and you're going to
There
get
you
the
go.
privilege of guessing which one I'm talking about and when. So this is a fascinating little movie, and we have had the pleasure, or you guys have had the pleasure, of having discussions with the director. There's a Q&A session that it's available somewhere, right?
No, I
It's
did
on our
a
main
straight up
feed.
interview. Yeah.
And the interview.
Franklin
that's-
with
Franklin
Franklin
Rich
Rich.
interview on our main
Yeah.
feed back in July or so,
Yeah.
something like
There you
that.
So go back and listen to that. We're talking about When Evil Lurks, of course. And so yeah,
Totally.
this is just a fascinating movie that like really took me by surprise. It's bottled. It's very much like an enclosed film for the most part. The performances, everything, it all stems from like just fantastic and extremely thought-provoking dialogue, which is something that I am just absolutely a sucker for. And that's not to say it's like necessarily a slouch in its visuals or anything like that. It does a lot with very, very little. And but all of it, just like the power of it, comes from the topics and the way that they're explored, the way that they're discussed. I just think this movie is another one that needs a lot more attention, because man, the brutality towards the children in this movie is just a top notch. Like they really go for the throat. They pull no punches.
And now
There's
we're on
really
a
not a whole
different
lot of
Ah,
explanation.
swerve, yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like, wait
there's
a
not-
minute. No, there's not. Oh, you're doing a bit.
No, I'm doing a bit, and I think that somebody else has When Evil Lurks. Like that's honestly, I just wrote a note in, put When Evil Lurks under this, above in the spot above this. So that's what would have been there. Oh well.
No worries. Yeah, the Artifice Girl is dope, and that's another one I know that is definitely on Tubi. But I think you can rent it for a few bucks too, so it's pretty
Yeah.
damn accessible. So check out Artifice Girl, and
Yeah.
definitely keep an eye out for more coming from Franklin Rich.
Yeah, that was gonna be since
Sure.
I thought we had said, but yeah, it's definitely like more sci-fi, but it was gonna be in my top like recommends. It's
Yeah,
really, especially for people who like thought-provoking films, it's got a lot to
Mhm.
chew on. It's really,
Yeah.
really impressive.
yeah, good
Yeah.
shit. Check it out. Number 6, Juice. What you got?
Number 6 is A New Religion, the Japanese film. Anybody else put that one? Anybody else
No.
put that one? No? Okay. So this is another one. I think I wrote an article for this one on our website. This one is available. Is that the one that's on Screenbox?
It is, yeah.
It is on
Yeah.
Screenbox. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's probably available to rent other places as well. Usually when they're available like that, you can get them at least rent or something. But yeah, this was a Japanese film, and I really liked it. I thought that it gave me some David Cronenberg vibes. Some of the way the lighting is done, some of the way the characters kind of play out. It's very what was Rachel called Infinity Pool something interesting, and it reminded me of that. It was like soul horror or something instead of like body horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of
Something
reminded
along
me
those
of
lines.
that because it follows this mother who has lost her child, and she's kind of dealing with the grief of that in her life with her kind of like ex-husband and the people around her. And then there's also this very interesting villain who has one of those things in their neck, that where they were, it was like punctured or something. What is that called?
Oh yeah, it's like
Tracheotomy
a
thing?
voice
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, like a
The
voice
voice box
box kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And he has it linked like throughout his house, like to these speakers. And so no matter where you are, he's like speaking, and it goes throughout the whole house. It's pretty wild, and there's a lot of wild imagery and thoughts going on. And I just thought, and again, another really interesting, wild film that left me with some scenes, and mainly like to that villain that have just kind of like lived in my mind for the year, more than a lot of other things. So yeah, it's kind of made an impact in that way. I thought it was a really cool villain and some amazing visuals and some things to like really chew on, that's was different in horror these days, I think. So yeah, New Religion.
That is a good one. It's an interesting one. Check it
Yeah.
out.
I gotta watch that one too. There's a number of like this is the beauty of these top 10 lists is like especially this year because we all got the privilege of participating in so many festivals which we had never really truly done before in this
Mhm.
on this scale. So there's a lot of films that like would have otherwise completely gone under the radar for us that I'm hearing about or
Yeah.
that we're talking about.
Yeah,
So yeah,
we watched a lot of movies this year.
We did.
we did.
A lot. Number
Bob,
six
over to you. Number 6.
for Bob. I'm pretty certain you guys aren't going to have this on your list. Renfield.
Not on my list.
Yeah, didn't think
It
so.
is not on my list.
Oh, I thought you had it at number 1 for a second. Oh my god.
That was drama for the cameras to cut down later. Gonna add some sweet sound effects. Yeah.
Zoom in, a couple zoom ins. Okay.
This movie, I feel like it's just kind of tailor made for like my taste. Nick Cage as Dracula. It takes place in New Orleans. I really like horror comedies that like lean into the comedy. This definitely does that quite a bit. It's got excessive gore. It's got ska jokes. It's just like a really great, entertaining popcorn flick that I think really delivers on the premise, delivers on the idea. I think Nick Cage as Dracula is just a lot of fucking fun. He's definitely the highlight of the movie, and you get to see him in like various different Draculas. Like it starts off with him like in the black and white classic like 1931 Dracula, and they like superimpose him in the movie, and it looks great. And then you see him like with his face half blown off later, and like he can't really speak because his jaw isn't fully formed back. Then you got the suave version with his like velvet coat and everything. He's super funny in the role, and he's clearly like having a great time with it. Excessive gore, good fight scenes. Maybe the plot's a bit meandering. It's not totally perfect, but I found it to be entertaining as hell, and it kept me laughing consistently. They do a lot of good jokes involving the tropes of a vampire, and I dug it. I know you guys were a little cooler on it than I was, but I think it seems like nobody saw it in the theater. I know it's streaming now, so maybe more people have seen it since then, but like it did not do good numbers in the theater, unfortunately. But I dug it a lot.
Yeah, what I will say, like I'm a big fan of Nick Holt, and he's in this too. I mean, I like Nick Cage a lot too, but I mean, it is nice and refreshing to see him given a lead role because he's not typically given that. And
You
so
mean Lex Luthor?
yeah. So he just recently got cast. So, and maybe it had something to do with this film, him being able to handle this role. And yeah, so I think I was a little more sour on it, but it has lived in my mind as one I would like to revisit maybe early next year, just to give it some space. And we had to like hyper analyze it and stuff like that. I kind of would just like to watch it to enjoy it, or to you know,
it's a popcorn movie. It really is.
Yeah. So it is one that I would like to come back to. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. I don't dislike it. It's somewhere in the teens of my list.
Yeah.
But actually it's 20. Wow. That's with the additional one in there. Yes. So I mean I agree largely that it's like it's very silly if you're not meant to take it too seriously. I do think that some of the jokes rang a lot more hollow to me on the second watch. I think that we just had a very, very good in-theater experience the first time at the Overlook Film Festival, which didn't hurt anything, a good beer scenario, as we call it. And, you know, I don't know that it's one that I would go to bat for in a like in the forums or anything like that, but it's one that I think is a
The
reasonably
trenches.
good
Nice.
good horror comedy that I like the aesthetic of it more than just about anything else about it.
Mhm.
It's very good, and the performances are good. They're just, well, most of them are good. There's at least one or two that aren't.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's our number 6. Moving in, we're halfway there, boys. Moving into number 5. Randy, what you got?
Yeah. So this is where I slotted in They Clone Tyrone. Has anybody got it higher?
No.
Oh.
No. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Well,
because
I don't
Bob
know.
thought this was Bob's. We all had like one
Not
that
horror
we
enough. Yeah. It's so
thought
good
was-
though. It's so good.
Yeah, They Clone Tyrone. It's a very, very fun, I would say, sci-fi horror comedy. It's more comedy than it is anything else, and it's certainly a little bit more sci-fi than it is horror, I would say. But whatever the alchemy of those, like whatever push and pull there is there, it doesn't really matter. It ultimately nets out to a very entertaining and funny movie. John Boyega is doing a character that I've never seen him do, really. I'm not familiar with a ton of his work, but it was interesting to see him play like almost a straight man that goes like put in this absurd situation, and he's like eventually kind of absurd himself, obviously, but like Jamie Foxx kills it in this. Like the whole
Mhm.
cast is just so fucking funny. It goes to places I did not expect it to go. And it's like it's dealing with racial stuff or whatever. It's got some themes for you to chew on in there. We love themes around here, don't we, folks?
Yes.
But at the same time, like, it's just making like very ridiculous comedy in a very genre specific world. And again, another movie that just visually looks great. This is like, I don't know, I don't think 2023 was like the best year for horror movies or anything like that. I think we've discussed how it is definitely not that, but there's been no shortage of movies that look great this year, if nothing else. And this is definitely one of them. It just also happens to be very, very funny and have a little bit of something to chew on. Those are the things I look for. So
yeah, so this was my number 9, and yeah, this one was a surprise for me. I thought it was horror enough. It's definitely more in the sci-fi but I mean, there's some tense moments. It plays, I think, a lot off of some old school, like the hidden, the hidden labs and like, are people spying on you and stuff. It's definitely more threatening than something like, we talked about Artifice Girl. It definitely got threats and a lot of danger and stuff going on. And maybe some old Twilight Zone stuff, references and stuff. But yeah, I thought the performances were great, and it was just something that you just don't get a lot of. We're not getting a lot of this kind of sci-fi, I guess I would say. And yeah, it was just refreshing, and yeah, it looked great. Good performances. It's just a total surprise for me. Yeah, I liked it.
It's also largely riffing on like blaxploitation movies from like the 70s and
yeah,
things like that. So it's
dude,
this
Jamie Foxx's
wild,
look is so
fantastic. It's a wild blend of genres and tones, and I think it nails every single one of them. It's as far as like new movies that I saw this year, this would be in my top 3, honestly, of any genre. And it's one it just went to Netflix, and when I first put it on, I was like, I don't know, man, it's another one of those like 2-hour, 20-minute Netflix movies that always feel like they overstay their welcome, they're meandering and not just kind of underwhelming. But this, I was enthralled for like every minute, honestly. I really, really enjoyed it. So definitely watch that one if you haven't.
Good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Number 5, Juice.
So this is where I have When Evil Lurks. Bob, I'm assuming we're going higher on it.
No, I had it. I already said it. So I think
You
we're
did?
good. We can talk about it.
When was yours? What number?
When I realized
had
I missed
at number 8.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Then I guess, okay. And then I said I have it higher. So now we're talking. Okay.
Now we
okay.
got
it.
Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
This
Cool.
machine
Works.
just
I was thinking, I was like, man, was I just blanked out for Bob's conversation? Now I remember the rules. Okay. So yeah, When Evil Lurks, this one, it's brutal. This one, it's a different kind of possession film. And I definitely like that. We've been talking about that more and more, having possession films that aren't tied to like the Catholic Church. And this director, he's we covered a movie of his before, and he does some things that a lot of horror directors are kind of scared to do or don't do a lot. And there's like some kid violence or violence against kids in here. There's just some really brutal things going on, but they're done in a tactful way. It's not like a Terrifier where it's just straight up in your face. I think it's builds good tension, and it makes some sense for the logic that's set up in the movie. It's got some kind of like folklore thing going on, this like superstition of this possession of like this body just gets possessed and starts to spread out around the town. You can't like shoot it, or there's like these rules that they set up. Very interesting. And yeah, it follows these two brothers who are just kind of like dealing with this situation, trying to get out of this town as this possession kind of spreads. And yeah, I was pretty impressed by this.
Me too.
Yeah.
This is like Damien Rugna's return, right? So from After
Yeah.
Terrified, which also had like some child adjacent stuff going on. So like this guy does not shy away from that. I guess that's something that if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, you should be aware of.
Yeah.
As you go into any of his films, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Bob, you had this at number 8, you said, right? So
I did, yeah. So this, I mean, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. This guy is from Argentina. It's a Spanish language movie. Both of his movies are on Shudder if you want to check him out. I don't want to add too much more to it because we're probably going to be doing a full review on it very soon. It seems like it's going to win the poll. But yeah, it's an interesting possession movie, real brutal. Yeah, I agree. Totally. Check it out if you haven't seen it, because you might want to watch it before you hear our full review, probably next week. So do that. Anything else you guys want to add?
no, I think it's
right.
good to bite our tongues on that one.
Yeah, good call. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, no worries. Number 5 on my list, I had Onyx the Fortuitous. Is anybody have it higher?
Onyx!
No.
Man, no.
All right.
Okay.
So Andrew Bowser created this character of Onyx the Fortuitous. He wrote this movie. He directed this movie. This is clearly like a labor of love of his that's been in the making for about a decade or so. And you just kind of like feel the love that he's put into it. It feels very homegrown. And the character of Onyx is like, I find to be like very funny. I could see some people putting this on and finding him a bit annoying, but if you've ever been just like a big old awkward nerd, I think you can probably identify in some way with Onyx, the Fortuitous in this movie. It also has a lot of like other great characters in it. Everybody else that is like the supporting cast. The characters feel like they're pretty well developed and like the performances are solid. You've also got Jeffrey Combs playing the big bad in this, and you get a bit of a cameo from Barbara Crampton as well. There's a lot of great practical effects. There's a lot of rubber monsters. There's a lot of puppetry, like old school Jim Henson kind of stuff. It's just a lot of fun.
Not exactly, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they're full blown puppets. So they don't look exactly like Jim Henson.
They ain't
so
Muppets though. That's just
they're not.
clear.
That's fair. That's fair. They are not Muppets. But I really dig the way they went about doing all the monsters, all the characters, and it's kind of like a gateway horror movie too. It's not like real gory. There's not a lot of like curse words or like explicit, like no sex scenes or anything. So like if you wanted to show like a new horror movie to your kid,
maybe
there's
there
sex
was a
jokes, and
sex
I think there is a
is there? I guess I forgot about it.
But I think it's like but it's played for laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're spying
Anyway,
through
but-
the wall, I think. Yeah.
Anyway,
There's some
Yeah.
sexual situations, but certainly some sexual jokes. So it's like a PG-13 in that way.
sure. Yeah. It's not super explicit, anyways. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I feel like this is one it's extremely underseen because it got a theatrical release for one night in October, and that was it. And then it went to Screambox, and it just came out on Blu-ray this week. So it's a little more accessible now. Check it out.
You almost
I like
didn't
it
get to
quite a
see
bit.
this year at all.
Poor
I
Bob.
tried. It's the one that
Bob
got
almost
away.
kept us from seeing
Dude.
it.
Dude, really, this
Mhm.
this is a funny story, and we're gonna tell it. So we got digital screeners of this film from not one but two different film festivals, because the first one I think, right? Or no,
No,
just
it was from
multiple
the same
times.
film festival, but the problem was it was like our third or fourth that we were covering, and everyone does it differently. So how they give out
Yeah.
screeners. So
Yeah.
this one just it was our first
Had a
one where
limit.
they had a limit on the watch. Well, Bob's trying to watch it on his phone out in the field one day,
Yeah.
and he's not
Out in the
getting good.
field.
He's not getting good,
Left
sir.
field,
I
of
think they
course.
gave us like 10 watches, and Bob's just over here refresh, refresh, refresh.
I didn't
refresh
know.
and just ate up all the views. And then I had to like ask, like, hey, could you please give it us again? And there was like a delay and it was kind of a struggle. And they finally did. And I was like, Bob, I know you really want to watch this. So I'm going to let you watch it. But it had a time limit on it too. I waited to the last night. I was like, Bob, did you watch this? No. So I watched it. And then Bob's like, 6 hours later was like, I can't watch this movie. What's going on with this
Dude,
movie?
they only gave us one more
It's like,
view,
dude,
and then I did, and then the same thing happened, but I watched it.
yeah.
Like
I don't know.
this
how-
happened.
I don't
This
know
happened
how that
fucking.
worked
We asked
exactly.
3 more times for this fucking movie.
Bob.
I got to watch the first 30 minutes like 2 or 3 times, and I never got to see anything else. Because I was gonna watch it that one night, Juice, and I came home and I put it on at like, I don't know, 9 or something like that, and it was just like, no, it's expired, and I was like, what? So anyway, you can watch it on Screenbox, you can rent it, you can buy it on Blu-ray. Fuck you. Definitely check out Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. It's worth watching.
Hang on, this
It
was
is.
my number 10, so I need a chance to talk.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, get in there. Get in there.
So I will say this is the one, as I was saying, this is the one that flipped back and forth and ultimately beat out Thanksgiving. And the reason I am going to give it is this is one that I came into expecting not to really like. I thought, you know what, this isn't really my bag. And I knew this guy, if you know, he has a YouTube channel and he had a video that kind of blew up a while ago, where he has this kind of shtick or whatever. And I thought, you know, if he's doing this character through the whole movie, I don't think that, you know, we talked about it with last week with the Yule log, like, you know, can you really stretch this into a full movie, this kind of shtick? And I just didn't think he'd be able to. And honestly, I was so impressed that I had to give it this spot. It just, it's kind of an endearing film, but it's very funny and it's just well put together. And I had a lot of fun watching it, and I was just really impressed that I just didn't absolutely hate this character by the end of it. And it's like super goofy, but like in a relatable kind of way. And yeah, just really impressive, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that this is one of those movies that, again, desperate for more people to see it because it's one of these movies that it has no right being as good as it is.
Yeah.
Try and think, and this is something I was going to talk about. We're going to have talking about trends from this year. Well, one trend was YouTuber movies or YouTube
Yeah, good call.
movies that started on YouTube. This is a think of any viral sensation online who went on to try and capitalize it with a YouTube movie. Fucking Fred or Angry Video Game Nerd. Those movies suck assholes. They're very bad. And you know, like everybody, I haven't even seen most of those, but like their reputation is that everybody hates them, including fans of those people. That's what I expected from this. Like I like the Onyx character in his viral stuff, and it's fun, but it's like small bites, just like you said, Juice. It has no right being able to like expand into an hour and a half without becoming grating and annoying. He just stacks the cast with a lot of like interesting characters, interesting visuals. This is like a legitimate film. It's a silly film,
totally.
but it's a legitimate film that just so happens to center around a character that started as like seemingly a one-off gag. So I don't know. I agree. I'm very impressed with it, and I think Andrew Bowser deserves some praise there. I hope there's a second Onyx film in the
Me
works
too.
at some point,
Yeah.
or at least some new stuff from him.
This was like Kickstarted, crowdfunded. I think they ended up raising about $600,000. And like after watching it, it's kind of amazing they made it on such a low budget. But
They had one
it's good.
scene that is tailor made for my
It is.
specific tastes,
It
and I know
really
you guys
is.
know the one I'm talking about. And it
Mhm.
blew my dick into the goddamn air. It was
Damn.
amazing.
Hell yeah.
Loved
Okay,
it.
cool. Well, that wraps up our number 5 spot. Let's get into our number 4s. Randy, what you got?
Yeah, so again, going with sort of a smaller feature. These are again, like, I'm so pleased that we got to see all these movies. We stepped outside our comfort zone and went into these other places because it gave us a chance to get acquainted with movies like Brooklyn 45. Any other people have that on your list?
Oh,
Both
yeah.
of you. Okay.
Yeah.
I do,
All
but
right,
it's
well,
in
that's
the,
my
I
number.
will say it's in the same spot. Bob, you got
Okay,
it higher?
Bob, yours higher?
I got a higher, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we'll sit on it.
So,
But
Bob.
yes.
Back to
Right
Bob.
back to
Bob.
me.
What
All
you
right.
got, Bob? Number 4.
My number 4, you guys probably have this. Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
It's on here.
All right. Stick a pin in that. We'll be right back. Straight on to number 3. I got Brooklyn 45 at number 3. So
Oh. Do
We
we want
might
to
as
just do that
well.
now?
Well,
let's-
yeah, sure. Let's just do Brooklyn. Let's all
Let's
talk
just
about
do that
Brooklyn
now.
45 for
We're-
right now.
all right, let's do it.
Um
Yeah, kicks you start, Randy. Might as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Bob and I had the pleasure of seeing this film at Overlook Film Festival before it dropped on Shudder this year, and that's where it lives now, is my understanding still. And another sort of like bottle film that is just written to the hilt, if you know what I'm saying. Like it is just like rock solidly written and gives you so much to think about. The premise of this, for those who haven't listened to our episode on it, is that these old friends in Brooklyn in 1945, they meet after the war. They're all in some way connected to the war, and the war is technically over, but you couldn't tell some of these people that. And there's some push and pull about paranoia of war and fog of war and just trauma and all sorts of shit is rolled into this.
Yeah.
Prejudice absolutely is like maybe central more than anything else, and it's like a damn good movie. And what made it like all the sweeter is that Bob and I got to hang out for like a minute just chit-chatting with Ted Gagan, the creator or the director and writer of this film, and he told us a little bit about that. We have some stuff about that somewhere on the site, don't we?
Yeah, we recorded a Q&A with Ted.
Is it on our episode?
It is on
Patreon.
our mini cast. Yeah, it's a mini cast on Patreon.
So check out our Patreon for that. But yeah, I just really, really love this movie. Visually, it was fucking perfect. The color grading, I will go to my grave happy about the color grading of this movie, or not even color grading, just the color choices of keeping it very Christmassy without keeping that red, that burgundy. It was somewhat modeled, if I remember right, after Home Alone, which also did a similar thing. And it's just so fucking great. And there's so much to talk about in this movie. There's so much to think about. And there's some pretty like fucking fun, just spooky effects. A couple are a little bit hokier because it is a low budget thing. But the fact that they made so much with so little, I have nothing. I'm pleased as punch with this movie. I couldn't say anything better about it.
Yeah, so this is my number 4, and luckily I said this when we covered it. I didn't have the bias of kind of like talking with the director and being in the space when it was, presented and stuff. I just thought it was really fucking good. And yeah, another thing I'll bring up later when we're talking about our trends, on my list, at least 3, possibly 4, because I can't remember exactly with El Conde, have ties to World War II, because you got this definitely in My Mother's Skin, and we'll talk about Godzilla later. I'm like, holy shit, okay. So yeah, just the aesthetic of this is beautiful. Really, this is another movie where there's a lot of talking going on, but everybody kills it, and the ideas that they're presenting are relevant today, but also great at seeing like how they were relevant but like slightly different back in the day, and how
It reminds me of a time that is past.
a simpler time, I guess. But yeah, it's just I was very impressed, and it has these elements, these spooky elements that I said at the time didn't necessarily need to be in there, but the way that they were included felt natural and were handled really well. And I appreciate them kind of being added in there because they really didn't need to be. So tying that to horror, gives a little boost from me. So yeah, I loved it. Bob, you had this high number 3.
Number 3, yeah, this is my top 3. This is a great bottle movie, which I think we all are prone to enjoy. And it starts off as like this really classic kind of like seance scene, which is like just really cool, like old school horror vibes. And then it kind of gets a little bit bigger from there. Larry Fessenden is kind of like leading the seance. and it's really cool to see him like stretch his acting chops a little bit. He usually does little bit parts, but he's got a major role in this movie, which is pretty cool. He does a good job too. Everybody does. And I think it's also kind of neat to know like just sort of what happened behind the scenes and writing this. Like Ted wrote this with his father, and it was like a kind of a passion project that they both were able to work on. His father was in the service. I forget what branch, and he was sort of like able to help him with some of the dialogue in the script and how like a major might talk to, one of his underlings or whatever. So it's really great. It's on Shudder. If you haven't seen Brooklyn 45, it's a perfect time to watch it now because it is a movie that takes place during Christmas and it is Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Check that shit out. Number three's, unless there's anything else you want to mention for Brooklyn 45 before we keep rolling.
No. I was just
all right. Randy, what do you got at number 3?
So my number 3, I'm confident this is not on either of your lists. I am including Skinamarink. And this is a film that is a very, very, very divisive. And we've covered at length my feelings about this on our episode about it. But ultimately, I am very, very pleased that a movie like this can get made. I'm very, very pleased that this is, something that is even possible to get a release like it did. And just as an experience, this is a movie that washes over me. It's all about the experience and like just letting it hit you and just living in that moment. There were a couple of spots in this movie where it was a little bit hard for me to look at the camera or look at the screen rather. And that's saying something for a movie that shows you very fucking little. Like this movie thrives on your imagination. And what can I say? I think that's fucking incredible that it is able to pull out like foreboding and fear with so fucking little. And then, intersperse just a handful of like jump scare bullshit, which it works perfectly with the amount of like cock teasing that goes on with that. I mean, I don't know. I really like this movie. I know that a lot of people see it as dull. It reminds me very much of when Paranormal Activity came out and everybody either thought it was like the greatest thing that's ever happened, the scariest movie of all time due to the marketing campaign that told us that, or it was the most boring thing in the world. And I remember sitting right between you, Juice, and resident serial killer Drew, as you had both of those polar opposite reactions to that film. And I was and conceptually and physically I was in the middle of that. I kind of feel like more on like I'm like 85% towards the oh shit, this is scary sort of thing. But the extra amount that pushes it to my number 3 spot is just the breaking of the seal of this kind of film and allowing these small creators with not just small budgets, but like sort of like broad ideas.
Micro budgets. Like small doesn't even like it was $15,000. That's
you're
insane.
Like making a movie in your home that winds up in theaters should be fucking celebrated as long as it's not, I don't know.
And honestly, like you put it at 3 and it is kind of like people love it or hate it in some ways. But I mean, I've seen it at the top of a lot of people agree at the top of like lists, number ones. Like,
I wish it wasn't so divisive, but
it's one of our most downloaded episodes this year.
Yeah.
People are really intrigued by it, and they should be. It's interesting. It's not like many other movies that have come before it, but
good
I do
for
think
that guy.
I think it'll be a bit of a trendsetter, and we'll talk more about that for sure. Did, dude. There was like so few movies actually like scared the shit out of me this year, and there's one moment in this movie where I audibly like screamed. It got me so fucking.
And that's
good.
fair. It physically affected me. I told you guys. I was like, I don't think I could have watched this in the theater because it made me so uncomfortable. And that's part of the dislike for. I don't hate. I don't think it's dull. It's a very uncomfortable movie, but that makes it effective in a lot of ways. I respect the shit out of it for sure.
See, and like I like a movie that if it can make me feel discomfort, like that's why I didn't include it this high on my list. It's not in my top 10 by any means, but Beau is Afraid is also like a movie I enjoyed for that reason. It's because it's pulling you out of what you expect to see in a movie. It's not a movie that placates you. It's a movie that invites you to, I don't know, to imagine and feel what's happening in front of you and not, I don't know, like just let it wash over you. There's no better way for me to describe it than that. You really just have to take it like a roller coaster, even if it's a slow as fuck roll. It's really more of a dark ride.
That's a better analogy. Yeah. Cool. Juice, you're number 3. What you got?
So number 3 is Godzilla -1. We need to take a moment. Wait on it.
Oh, wait on
I-
it, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're waiting on it. Nice.
Wait
all
on
right.
it.
Well, then that leads us right into our number 2. Randy, what you got at your number 2?
Well, my number 2 is Godzilla -1.
Okay.
No,
Well,
we should
let's
talk
get
about
into it then. Okay.
Perfect.
I forgot that you already did your 3, so yes.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go to Godzilla -1.
So yeah.
So
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I just talked a lot, but
Okay. I'll
short
talk
version,
then.
we just did a review. This is a great fucking movie. This is definitely one of the best Godzilla movies for my tastes.
Mhm.
Godzilla is evil as fuck in this movie without being like personified too much, and all the personification, all of the heart, all of the other stuff is filled in by other characters who, in a franchise that is often beset with characters you don't give a shit about,
Mhm.
this is the complete opposite of that. And so huge success in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a very accessible film, and this is something I'm going to bring up with maybe some honorable mentions. We kind of dropped a little bit with Franklin's movie Artifice Girl, but honestly, the thing that maybe kept this out of the number 1 spot, and I've said it in years past, so I'm trying to stay like pretty consistent, is with this top 10 horror of the year, I try to really give the number 1 spot to something that's just like straight up horror, but this one's just so good that and it's horror enough for us to cover. We cover kaiju films and stuff like that from time to time, monster films, so it's definitely good enough to be like included. But yeah, it really is. It's one of the richest films from this year. Another one set in World War II, and just taking Godzilla seriously, but also like using Godzilla as a device to tell this really kind of beautiful story, and kind of introduce you to these really interesting characters, and to spend time with things that not a lot of movies are dealing with. We talked about male vulnerability and just the idea of like not submitting yourself to suicide, and taking that cultural approach, but making it very relatable and understandable. It's a fantastic film. It really is really good. So yeah, Bob, you had this
Yeah, this was my number 4, and
Okay.
the main reason I didn't have it higher was because I wanted to at
The
least keep my
horror,
top
yeah.
3 like more horror centric.
Sure.
But yeah, this movie is absolutely gorgeous. I love the cinematography and the old filmic look they achieve. It looks like a movie that was made in the 40s, late 40s. Another World War II movie with some really interesting like post-World War II politics happening in Japan, and the treatment of the kamikaze pilot that may have survived the war is just super interesting, and it does a great job balancing the human story with the Godzilla destruction, and the design of Godzilla was great. The way he charges up his heat breath and everything was fantastic. There's like moments of this that remind me a lot of Jaws, which is just really enjoyable. The acting was great. It's an amazing movie, honestly. It's fantastic, and definitely be sure to check it out if you haven't already. And then listen to our full review.
If for not being a kaiju guy, really, like I like actually sitting down to watch a kaiju movie is rarely anything that I'm going to do. I will rewatch this movie. Like,
yeah, same. Yeah.
One day I'm gonna get that urge and be like, I gotta watch that again. I can already feel it building.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
It's one of those clip ones too, where I know, I'm gonna get that itch and be like, let me watch this scene on YouTube, and then I'm just for the next like 3 weeks, I'm gonna be getting clip suggestions on YouTube. I'm
whole movie
eventually
in
just watching the
3-minute
whole
increments.
movie. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. That happens a lot, actually.
Oh,
So yeah, good one, Godzilla.
Godzilla -1. Number 2 to you, Juice. What you got?
Here is my infinity pool. We waiting on this one?
Same. I got it at number 2 as well.
Okay, Randy, did
Perfect.
you have this one at all?
yeah, I had this down at 8. So
Oh,
it's a
okay,
little further
okay.
down
So
for
now
me.
we could talk about Infinity Pool. Yeah,
Yeah.
David Cronenberg. I like David Cronenberg a lot.
Brandon.
No, Brandon.
Brandon.
My bad.
Brandon.
Step it
Baby
back.
Bird.
Yeah,
Brandon.
Sorry. Brandon Cronenberg. I like Brandon Cronenberg. And this movie came out earlier this year. We did an episode on it with Rachel, and it was just really different, horrific, but playing with again some really interesting ideas of it's even kind of hard to talk about without getting into some deep spoilers. It's just, it presents a lot of ideas that I don't think a lot of people could maybe come up with or present in such an interesting way that this does. And a good performances, and it's just wild shit that I've never seen anywhere else or thought about before in some ways. And he just has this way of making films that just kind of like burrow into my brain and kind of leave me fascinated the whole time I'm watching it, even though it's some bonkers shit that sometimes he's doing. Just fascinated by it. I love his cinematography, and I really like this film. It's weird, and I could understand like people being put off by it or thinking like it's too weird or whatever, but I don't know, I'm fascinated by him. I think he's a really, like, he's one of those younger directors or up and coming directors that I just like can't wait to see what he does next. Every time, like anytime he makes a film, I'm gonna see it no matter what. And just kind of expect to it to be of like a certain quality. So yeah, Infinity Pool, that was good.
Yeah, it's at my number 2 spot as well. And yeah, this movie's just extremely thought provoking. You've got these extremely wealthy folks that go to this third world country to take this very lavish vacation, where they're surrounded by people who can barely afford to buy any food. Meanwhile, they can afford basically anything they want, so they value nothing. And it shows up in really dark, fucked up, hedonistic kind of ways in this movie. It's just like really well thought out. The acting is phenomenal. Mia Goth riding on the hood of that car, eating chicken and drinking fucking champagne is like one of the greatest moments of any movie this year, I think. Mia Goth is just killing it, man, and everything she's in. Also, the mask designs are so fucking terrifying in this movie. It's just really, really good and interesting, and it's one that you can rewatch and I think probably pull more out of each time you watch it. So yeah, it's great. Number 2 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I put this at my number 8, but I can tell you without any doubt that this was slotted in as high as number 3 from various points. It just moved and like bolted up and down the list like crazy because it's so fucking like well put together, and like all the things you said or you guys said are true. I just think maybe it's a little like overlong, and I think that was, I don't know. I'm trying to like parse now why it wasn't higher for me, because I agree with everything you guys said, and I feel like maybe it was that. Maybe it's a little bit of confusion in the conceit, just a little bit. But I think, man, it's a damn good movie. It's well worth your time. I think it's a rewatchable movie, like you said, Bob. Although I have not rewatched it, and I feel like it's one of those that will certainly like I'll gain a greater appreciation with another watch, because when you don't see that shit coming, it's really hard to put the pieces together of what this film is communicating. And so maybe that's another thing that was tough for me. But yeah, this is a great movie, well worth everybody's time.
Yeah, totally. So that takes us to our number 1 spot, right? We're all at our number 1.
We're all in alignment on this, I think.
We
must.
I don't think there's any chance that nobody brought this movie up already.
I think we all have the same number 1.
Do we do a 3, 2, 1?
Say it at the same time. Count of 3. Right. Ready?
Count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
Talk to me.
Hey,
wow, has that ever happened before?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
This movie, like to your point earlier, Juice, the reason this movie is my number 1, well, not the reason, but a big reason is because I wanted true horror right at the top. And Godzilla was fighting for that spot hard.
Yeah.
Fucking A. This movie came out of fucking nowhere.
Came out of YouTube, man. Fucking YouTube.
Another YouTube,
Two Australian folks, the
It's
Philippine
the
brothers.
breeding ground.
I know. If you were to show me this movie and I didn't know any context about it, I would never in my wildest dreams be like, a YouTuber made this. Like it's made with such confidence and like with such vision and direction, and it looks amazing.
That is how we watched it. We watched this at the Overlook Film Festival. It was the surprise viewing. It was the secret screener, and we didn't know what it was until we sat down. And they might have mentioned that they have a YouTube channel, but like everybody has a YouTube channel. So at least for my money, I didn't take it as like, oh, Logan Paul made a movie and it's good. No, I didn't have
My point is, it doesn't look like YouTubers made it. That's my point.
Yeah, no.
It looks
and that-
like
that
a
is true.
seasoned director made this, not people that just made YouTube shorts.
Mhm.
And also like another Australian banger. It's super dark. It's super thought provoking in the way that it handles its themes of grief, and it's another possession movie with sort of an interesting take on possession, with the haunted hand that you grab, which is
Mhm.
sort of an allegory for party drugs. And yeah, I don't know what do you guys think? What did you like it? Did you like it?
Well,
like
it's
it.
number one.
Not a
Yeah.
fan.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just this is the one that I've seen so many people rally around, and I haven't I'm sure they exist, but I haven't really seen anyone who just, Skinamarink gets divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people think it's boring. For the most part, this has some general praise, even for the people who might not be so hot on it, generally seem to think positively about it. It's a very interesting and yet relatable type of horror where we're talking about horror of putting yourself in the shoes. The idea of like these kids, playing this kind of party game and it having these consequences, like talking with the dead and not viewing it as that, just, the elements of peer pressure and like social media and everything like that, I thought was just handled very well. A lot of movies these days sometimes have like really good ideas, but they just get really heavy handed with some of the messaging that they're doing or like how they're presenting these things. This felt so effortless. It just felt like I was able to fall completely into this movie, relate to the characters, relate to the situation, and just be really intrigued by the rules that were set up and how everything worked. It was well put together, unique too, especially it didn't feel like it was necessarily like playing off of any ideas that I'd seen. I mean, like, yes and no, but I don't know. It felt fresh, but also familiar. I don't know. I think it's just well put together in that way.
It really is. And like the thing about this movie is like they came up with a very, very simple and interesting conceit, by which to tell a story that is very both clear and effective. Like they effectively communicate the story by using this conceit, and like it just plays perfectly together. It's rarely do you get a movie that's like that simpatico between its its surface level intentions and its under the hood intentions. This is very, very clear. I think you're right that it's like it's not heavy handed. That can come across, and I'm usually pretty forgiving of that, but I don't see that here at all. And I think you're totally right to say that. Like I haven't heard anybody hate on this movie, at least not with any points at their back. Sometimes people might just say, "Oh, that sucks," and that's it. But like, I'm sure there's somebody out there with a good reason that they don't like this movie. But I really fucking like this movie, and the fact that it came out of a couple of YouTubers who are better known for shorts and things like that is very fucking impressive and just adds to some of the mystique here. I don't know if they can reach this height again. It might be like, because this is so strong, it might be headed for a sophomore slump, but I hope not. I hope these guys can like repeat the success, because this shit is great. It's an iconic, like there's iconic visuals, like the hand. That's something that you're gonna see at people's fucking Halloween parties for the next 30 years.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna see that all over the place. And they're already making sequels. I'm not excited about sequels to this movie personally. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. But I just as a single fucking movie, as a freshman attempt, it doesn't get much better. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
for my money, this is the most successful straight ahead horror movie this year that I saw anyways. It's got that like sense of dread, but I think the thing that gets me most excited about it is it has this like real like vibrant energy to it. It's just got a youthful kind of vibe that I really, really appreciated. It feels like these dudes are super fucking excited about making movies, and it kind of comes across. It's also got a great soundtrack, by the way, which probably helped the vibe.
Another thing that Randy pointed out that's really good to mention. I remember mentioning this last year. I feel like probably around the top spots I kind of mentioned this, but I feel like this is the movie that people will still be talking about for sure. And there's probably others that people will,
there
but
are others.
like
Mathregan.
Well, oh,
Right.
no, not just, I mean, in the list that we've mentioned, I'm just saying, like, I feel 100% confident that in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, this is still going to have some relevance and conversation in people's minds, especially if you're a teenager now and this is one of the movies that you saw this year, which probably was because it got a lot of buzz. This is going to be that classic for you. This is going to be that introduction to horror movie for you. And that I see it just cementing itself,
Mhm.
you know, in people's minds in that way going into the future. So I feel like this one, like 100% for sure.
In the fucking performances too. The acting
Yeah,
Dude,
is fantastic.
it's great.
it really
Yeah.
is.
Really
That,
good.
that the young kid,
Yeah.
the boy,
The young
that kid, man,
Yeah.
give that kid any role, please.
Yeah.
Keep giving
Yeah.
all these people, really. Everybody in the
Yeah.
movie deserves
Yeah,
more work because
yeah.
they're fabulous. But that kid in particular, man, he took some turns.
Yeah. Great.
Mhm.
Great movie.
Good shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, do you guys want to run down our list real quick, just for people who might want to jot movies down?
Sure.
Randy, you want to run yours down real quick?
Sure. My list as it was written. Number 10, Godless the Eastfield Exorcism. Number 9, Thanksgiving. Number 8, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. Number 7, Infinity Pool. Number 6, Artifice Girl. Number would be 6, When Evil Lurks. Number 5, They Clone Tyrone. Number 4, Brooklyn 45. Number 3, Skinamarink. Number 2, Godzilla -1. And number 1, Talk to Me. Juice, how about you?
Number 10, Onyx the Fortuitous. Number 9, They Clone Tyrone. Number 8, In My Mother's Skin. Number 7, El Conde. Number 6, New Religion. Number 5, When Evil Lurks. Number 4, Brooklyn 45. Number 3, Godzilla -1. Number 2, Infinity Pool. And number 1, Talk to Me. Bob, run it down.
Yo. Number 10, We Might Hurt Each Other. Number 9, Evil Dead Rise. Number 8, When Evil Lurks. Number 7, Thanksgiving. Number 6, Renfield. Number 5, Onyx the Fortuitous. Number 4, Godzilla -1. Number 3, Brooklyn 45. Number 2, Infinity Pool. And number 1, Talk to Me.
Whoa.
So you guys, your top 2s match too, even.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they do.
And then we all had Godzilla pretty high too.
Pretty
right?
high.
Yeah,
dude.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some clear standouts for the year for sure.
Mhm.
Cool. So we talked about the best of 2023, and now it's time to air out some grievances, talk about some of the worst movies of 2023.
Um,
Wow. So I think we're trying to pick 3, like a bottom 3. Randy, do you want to kick us off? What's one of the shit movies you saw this year?
Sure. Oh, I do have a bottom 3. I'll start with my third to top. That would be The Haunted Mansion. Now,
Oh, yeah.
this film,
I'm just gonna have to like
it's-
rotate out of the ones y'all don't mention. I think there's plenty.
Same.
there
yeah.
are plenty. There are plenty. The Haunted Mansion to me is like the most aggressively dull thing that I've seen this year. I think.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know. I have a little fondness for the Haunted Mansion. I have fondness for the Disney parks and things like that. I wouldn't classify myself as a Disney adult by any stretch, but I like those things, and I didn't have high hopes for this. But with the cast being what it is, and with them basically taking a second bite of the apple after kind of fucking the dog on the last one, I thought this might be a little bit
Damn.
better than
Leave that dog alone.
No, fuck that dog.
fuck that dog. Yeah, I don't know. I just was really like, remember watching this movie, and this is one of the few times where I was really struggling in a theater to keep my eyes open. That's not good. I'm
Dude, I
pretty
fell
good
asleep
about not.
3 times in this movie. Alice had to
Yeah,
keep
it's-
waking me up.
It's understandable because it's just really very. It does nothing. It says nothing. I don't expect it to say a whole lot. It's a family film, so it kind of accomplishes what it needs to for a certain audience that's just not me. And really, that's a shame because I feel like I have the interest to be an audience member for this and be there for it. It just doesn't really say anything. It doesn't do anything to my tastes, I guess, is ultimately
Yeah.
the problem.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Well, that's on my list too, so I'm just gonna pivot away. So I'll say Nun Deuce, and we're
Yeah,
gonna see
yeah.
that this is a
Oh,
trend.
fuck,
Honestly,
yeah.
and we'll maybe I'll bring it up at my number one, I guess. Actually, honestly, this would probably be number one, but they're all bad. So, man, like this movie's just so fucking boring and not scary, and they just neuter this character. They just it's so feels so soulless. It feels just like egregious money grubbing. It's like for something that is at least supposed to have some semblance of art or some artistic something going into it. This just feels like the most bullshit machine pressed out. I just felt so soulless to me. It was boring. It's just like fucking boring.
There's no stakes to it, and at the end, the big like nun battle sequence is the dumbest shit I've
I
ever
can't
seen.
believe they marveled that shit
They
so
do.
hard. Like, it's just not with that fucking character, with that franchise. It's not what it needed. It's not what it's built for. It's nothing. It is pure and utter cash
I
grab.
feel like you almost can't even call it a horror movie. Like it's just not
They-
even like
yeah.
moody at all. It's not. It's
Ugh.
bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a genre film. I guess you can call it that.
I guess, yeah. There is a ghost, I guess, or a demon, or a
Wow.
wolf. What even is it? Like, it can do literally anything. I don't know what it is anymore. Like,
It's fucking. It's Freddy Krueger like rules where it just changes every movie. They just MacGuffin it back into existence, and that would be fine if it was funny or had interesting things going on instead of action sequences like it has. Like I'm not in. I'm not in for this one.
Yeah.
I agree.
Bob, what's your
number
third
3.
out?
I'm gonna go. I'll take The Exorcist Believer on this one.
I knew somebody would bring it up again.
Okay.
Boring.
Yeah. It's super, super like uninspired, and it definitely like you can feel that Blumhouse just came to Green and was like, "You want to do this? We'll pay you a boatload of money." He's like, "Yeah, okay, sure." And I'm sure he like tried to make a movie as best as he could, but man, it just feels like so uninspired and so fucking neutered compared to the original. And there's just like no reason to make 2 more of these. Please don't. It's so
Is that
fucking
set in stone still? I feel
yeah,
like
I mean, I am sure that it is because they paid, I think it
the
was
amount of
$500
money.
million just for the rights to make the movies.
Before,
Not even
Next
for
one
the
should be
movies.
next one should be a slapstick comedy directed by Sam.
Oh,
Yeah,
Raimi.
just do
God.
something wackadoo.
Do
yeah.
more. Yeah, do Dead. What is that fucking Leslie Nielsen movie? Remake that instead.
Yeah,
Fucking,
it's just, it's not
Repossessed.
scary. It feels, this is the way you don't do a possession movie. This is not interesting or different or original in any way. It's just the same retreaded stuff. It just is not even remotely scary at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure it had a bigger budget than probably any other possession movie we saw this year. And this is arguably the worst, in my opinion. It's very bad.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
damn close.
What?
What was that?
My
Right.
microphone must have come undone. Is that good?
Yeah, it sounded
Yeah.
like you played a weird bump or did
Yeah,
something.
is that your
something
porn
play?
again,
No.
Randy?
Did your porn play?
No. My porn is
Uh-huh,
safely
Randy's trying to
stashed
play
away.
it off.
Thank you.
So yeah, Randy, you want to pull another one?
Yeah, let's pull another one. Since we're on the topic of boring movies, I'm gonna go with my bottom spot next because it's just another aggressively boring movie, The Boogeyman. Ah, my god.
Oh, Bob.
All that boogeyman bullshit.
Oh, shit.
Boogeyman bullshit. I wanted this
Bullshit.
movie to be good because I like the lead actress in Yellow Jackets. Like she's really, really great in that show. And Desmalchian is in this. Like there's this movie feel like I wanted it feels like it had stood a good chance of being decent, despite the fact that it's another goddamn movie called The Boogeyman. But it does nothing new. It does nothing interesting. Like there's no tension in it to me. I don't know. This is like what qualifies for the bottom for me usually is kind of the dull stuff. I don't even have as many movies this year where I'm like pissed off about it. Like This is not a movie that I'm like,
You should
like
feel
angry
nothing.
about. I just feel nothing from it. And
I
that's the
feel
literal
nothing.
I would so much rather feel like the anxiety of Beau is Afraid than this. It's
Sure,
crazy how much
yeah,
more I'd
sure.
rather feel anything than nothing out of this. So yeah. What about you guys? You feel that way about it?
Yeah, it's floating around there as well. Yeah, I mean, I had it technically higher, but I agree with that sentiment of it just kind of feels like a waste of time at the end of the day, just because I'm never gonna think about it again. And it just at least this one, I guess, to give it some props, doesn't feel like some kind of soulless money grab, because it's not really, like I feel like there's some redeemable things about it, despite the fact that it is really boring. But when you tie boring into also the amount of money that's pumped into something, and also it's just like soulless cash grab, that just drops it. I don't feel that way about the Boogeyman, but I do agree that it's very boring.
I'm a little easier on this than y'all. I don't love it by any means, and I wouldn't like go out of my way to like stick up for it.
You're not gonna fight for it in the forums, Bob?
Not in the trenches, dog. I gotta get on Reddit now. It's all right. I think it's okay, and it was mainly because it was PG-13. I think it was sort of geared towards a younger crowd, so it might not feel as boring or stale to some teenagers that watched it. So that's I think it's got an audience. I don't think it's us. Is really the main reason I'd go easier. That's it though.
Felt like a kind of Smile of this year, where I'm just like, this
Kinda,
is
yeah.
not really made for me, I guess.
But
like,
even Smile to me, like I liked the monster in Smile better than I liked the monster in this.
I don't think I did, but
A lot of people didn't, but
whatever.
I did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Tomato for me, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Cool. Juice, you want to pull another one?
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull another one. Whoa, this is gonna be a theme. We could talk about the trends, but Five Nights at Freddy's. This is not a game I was familiar with, so I could completely understand if to say like this is not made for me, or just like I'm not familiar with the source material, and that's fair enough. But I think the problem I had with this was at the beginning of it, even though I didn't think it was great, like I could see kind of who it was made for, who it was kind of catering to. I thought there was this kind of foundation of what I thought could be an interesting film, or like a decent gateway type of film, gateway horror type of film, something like that. But there's this like moment where there's this kind of turn, and I thought to myself, like, what? Like, this is really what they landed on to go this direction with this movie? It, for a moment, it stops kind of being dreadful. Like, there's this moment in the scene where they're like sitting and chilling with the killer robots. Like they're kicking back with them. And it's like,
Jesus.
it's like what the fuck? It just I couldn't understand why they didn't just, it seems like a pretty straightforward stick to the, we saw Willy's Wonderland, stuff like that, and I wasn't crazy about that movie either, but like it's pretty easy to make a middling movie, I think. And this one just felt like another kind of cash grab, really trying to, cash in on the name. And it's got some kind of bad visuals. And
that whole franchise has been completely mined to the hilt because children are into it, which to your point means that it could have been a fabulous like gateway horror, and I guess it still kind of is. It just it's not a good one. Like, I don't think
so.
I mean, I agree. I don't like it either, but people are watching the shit out of it. I think it is the most profitable horror movie of the year. I think it made like over $250 million.
That's so
something.
unfortunate.
Holy
yeah,
shit!
So
God
much
damn.
money. Yeah.
Hollywood's definitely going to learn the wrong lessons from that shit.
That's the thing. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I put Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bob, what's your next one?
I'll grab another one here, and there's a bit of a theme, and so far the theme of our bottom threes are pre-existing IP entirely, every single one so far.
Yeah, soulless money grab.
Yeah, Saw X it would be my next
Fair
one.
enough, yeah.
It's I think they entirely misunderstand what makes the franchise interesting, and they try and insert this sort of morality to Jigsaw that really was not in any of the prior 9 movies, and it's just kind of head scratching that it's here now. They try and elevate this character that doesn't need it. I know a lot of people do quite enjoy this movie, so clearly somebody is resonating with what they did with this sort of swerve with this character. But watching this is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original. It takes place in between Saw 1 and Saw 2. And if you watch the original Saw and this back to back, it's not going to make any fucking sense at all. It's going to blow your fucking mind in half. It's insane. It's like they made this movie and they didn't watch any of the other ones. I think it's really fucking bad. I really think it's bad. And if you listen to our review on it, you already know that. So there you go. Saw it.
I agree with you. And to be honest, this is the one time I really, really appreciate our camaraderie on this, because we seem to be alone in our principles. And honestly, in some way, it would have driven me like crazy. Almost like I wasn't as harsh, but kind of like a Halloween 2018 where I was kind of like looking around like, wait, what? Everybody loves this. But to an even worse degree, because I at least thought like, Halloween was okay, solid, but people love this movie and we all hate it and think it's complete garbage, and it's blowing my mind. I agree. Like, I think it's bottom of the barrel. I figured one of us would mention it. It was going to be my next mention if you didn't. So
the first 30 minutes in this movie are just to make you feel bad for Jigsaw. That's the
crazy.
Dude, the majority of this movie is hero worship for a guy who maims and tortures people for tax fraud and shit.
Crazy.
Fuck that. Yeah, it was high on my list as well. I feel exactly the same, really. Ultimately, like to me, this is like what I said earlier. Like, oh, the Boogeyman and Haunted Mansion, like they're just so boring and like they're uninspired, and they could have done so much more. This is the movie more than any other this year that just pissed me off. Like, because it's capably selling a message, but that message is the most evil fuck you've ever met can be like somebody to aspire towards for no good reason. Like, there's no fucking reason given why anybody should follow this man, and you're supposed to like hate and loathe the people that follow him in the series for the up until a certain point anyway. And I don't know how we got to this point where it's like full on hero worship. And it's not like rooting for Freddy to kill dumb teenagers or anything like that. There is a pathos to this that they actively court. And we live in a society with a bunch of fucking school shooters and shit. So I just don't think it's very helpful to our goddamn society that this movie is being praised like it is.
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. It's really like troubling in a way that it makes me want to just like ignore it. But it's like come to our house in a way. It's like it's like if I could keep it in another separate thing, I would just ignore it and be like, oh, that's very unfortunate. But that it's presented in a horror movie that's one of the most successful, and we're going to cover horror movies and we're going to talk about the trends. It's like, damn, that's bums me out. Really bums.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer to see fucking John Robin Hood Kramer in this fucking movie. I can't stand it, dude. But we're gonna get another one next year. Randy, we got one more, right? Randy,
that's too damn.
I do have one more. Yes,
one more.
I would have pulled Saw X, but I'm gonna instead pull one that like I have one key thing about it that I respect, and I wasn't gonna completely put it on blast for that reason. But since Saw X has kind of took that spot, I'm going to talk about The Outwaters, which I don't believe either of you have seen.
I didn't.
I saw it.
Or no, I didn't catch
Bob,
it.
you
Bob
saw
did,
it.
yeah.
I don't like it either, man.
Yeah, it's not good. And like, this is interesting because it falls into the same category. There's like a camaraderie between this film and Skinamarink and those directors or whatever. And, I want to feel the same way I did about Skinamarink about this movie. But the experience of watching this movie is so goddamn confounding, and not in a foreboding way, just in a, could you please give me anything to look at sort of way? And when they do, it's, man, there's like one shot that's like the shot of the movie. I watched a man get up and walk out like 15 minutes or 10 minutes till the end of the movie because of this one scene. And it's just like, that was an interesting scene. I like that, but I like that there are people again making these kind of movies and sort of like getting the chance to tell these unusual stories using experimental technique and all that sort of thing, and get something of a wide release. But other than that, man, it's just insufferable to watch. I could never slog through this. And this is the guy who put Skinamarink at 3, remember? So like, fuck, like, I don't know how else to describe how trying it was to even sit down and watch this whole fucking thing.
I watched it in the theater, and
Me
I
too.
think it's the one theater experience I had this year where, like, about halfway through, I was like, I can't wait to leave. I just
no.
don't want to be here anymore.
Aw.
Not
I
great.
like feeling like we talked about this, and I'm going to talk about it later, but like anxiety, like give me some anxiety in a movie, and this movie is trying for that, but it just doesn't get there. It just makes it's confusing more than it is anxious, and that's not anxious. It's not anxiety inducing on its own. You have to give me something to be anxious about besides bad camera work.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a couple like cool ideas and moments in this. So I didn't put this on my worst of list necessarily. And it is someone trying to do something original, low budget there. And a lot of people did like this too. And I can understand that and appreciate that. And that's not as confounding as someone loving Saw X to me in any way. So
no, yeah, I totally agree. It's not angering, and I mean no ill will to the creators of this thing. This is like, to me, just a bad first film to put out. Like it just happens to be riding a wave that's just starting of this kind of movie. And I'm grateful for its place in that. And I'm grateful that there are people getting the opportunity to do this sort of thing. I just did not enjoy it one bit. That's just the honest truth.
Same, man. Same. Juice, you want to grab another one?
Yeah, I mean, since we're doing 3, and to be completely fair, so I am kind of give a little aside here, but to be completely fair, I too would have picked. I'm kind of pivoting off these. I too would agree that the ones that I didn't, Haunted Mansion, and all these other ones I agree with. So I'll be a little bit softer on this one, but I didn't really get to talk about this movie, so I'll kind of mention why I'm not so disappointed in it, but like why it's really low on my list. But I picked Knock at the Cabin, or I'm going to pick Knock at the Cabin, which was Shyamalan's. And I mean, talk about boring. I mean, I feel like Shyamalan's coasting, man. I really do. And even hearing y'all talk about it and the differences from the source material that he made, I don't think he made improvements. And I really just think he's coasting on something that maybe has some kind of rich idea in it. And so he wants to insert himself, but he's not for me anymore. Again and again, I kind of hound on him, but he really is just, I don't know. I think he's making boring movies. I think he's making movies like very sloppily. And I think he really, I don't know, is just kind of coasting off his previous success. And Knock at the Cabin was super boring for me. And it's definitely not as bad as the other ones I mentioned. Doesn't feel like that cash grab or whatever. But sometimes it just feels like he's not trying, man. And it's got actors in it that sometimes give good performances and I know have done even better performances and other things. And sometimes I just feel like Shyamalan's almost bringing the squad down. It just didn't resonate in any kind of way with me other than what was already existing within the property itself. So yeah, I just thought he did kind of a bad job with that. So yeah, Knock at the Cabin.
I mean, I think there's I'm not quite as low on that as you are, but I am pretty low on it. It's like number 29 on my list, so it's pretty low.
Yeah.
But like the thing that really like took that from being like a mediocre, uninteresting movie to being like one that's like, no, this is bad, was the change to the ending, like you mentioned. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen this and wants to. But the thing that the ending of this movie is just, it's a thud, man. It has no resonance for me. It's very, very, I don't know. It's like it's trying to be a crowd pleaser, but it does the opposite. It accomplishes the opposite. I am not pleased one bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say without getting too deep into the woods, but
yeah, it's fine. It felt kind of uninspired, and the ending was fairly predictable. And in part, I think that's the fault of the trailer, which shows you basically the entire movie, which is a bummer. But
Yeah.
I don't ever need to
Mm.
see it again. And like, I don't think it's offensively bad, but it's it's
Yeah, me too. That's the one that's kind
Yeah.
of coasting because it's just like, but when we're talking, like, I put Boogeyman higher than Knock at the Cabin, to be fair. And I think they're
Yeah.
both boring as shit. Like,
yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
think this
that.
one was better. It just had this to me just had better performances overall.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that carried me a little bit further.
Yeah. Bob,
But
yeah.
wrap us up
Yeah.
here.
I'll land the plane on the shit movies for the year with Children of the Corn remake.
Ooh,
Didn't see that one.
didn't see that one.
Don't watch it. It's not very good.
Oh,
watch
It's extremely like just boring as hell. There's just like nothing that really happens that's compelling in this, and like it's got a lot of child actors because Children of the Corn, obviously, and there's a lot of pretty rough performances from these kids in this movie, and it's just it felt like a waste of goddamn time entirely. Like the movie didn't need to be remade anyways, and it's just really uninspired and something that you probably should not waste your time on.
Well,
like
of
I
course,
did.
here come the demons.
So they're pre-existing IP almost entirely for that round. There you go. There's a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were the outliers? There was Outwaters and Boogeyman, I
guess. What do you mean?
No, that's it. Because Boogeyman was
Outwaters,
based,
like the movies that
That
were
weren't based
Oh,
on
that we're
IP.
not. Oh.
but all of them were except for Outwaters. Because
I think
Boogeyman's based
so.
on a short. Knock at the Cabin's based on a book. The
Oh, I didn't
rest
know that
were
was based on a. It's
sequels.
based on a short, but the short is based on
Nothing.
just like cultural shit. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd give it that one, but
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's all the other ones were for sure. All right.
interesting.
We talked about the bullshit. Now let's get into some of our honorable mentions.
So plump, so right.
I've got a few here that you guys already mentioned on your lists, but I know there's definitely going to be some more overlap here. And so we specifically wanted to keep television out of our main top 10, but our honorable mentions are going to definitely mention some like horror TV shows. So we'll kind of mix it up a little bit here in this segment. Randy, do you want to, maybe we'll do like 3 or 4 each. We'll just see how many we get to, I guess.
Sure.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah, I can kick us off. So I have a lot of
Pikachu
things
shock
on my
break.
honorable mentions. I'm gonna just do like a little list of like 4 things that we saw in festivals in the festival circuit that has not made its way to wide release on streaming.
Well,
or
we're going to
anything like
talk
that.
about that for what's coming next
Yeah,
year.
we'll get there.
So don't do that.
Okay, all right, I won't do that then. Well, there's one thing that I'm not sure will get a wide release from that. 2 of them actually. That last movie ever made. I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
if
I
that's
had
gonna
that
be picked
too.
up or not.
I don't know either. Yeah. Because
I
I
hope so.
looked, I was trying to look at anything I might possibly mention, and that was the one that I don't think is available from what I can see. Maybe
about it.
check YouTube for renting, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a trailer on YouTube. There's mentions of it here and there on the web, but like I can't find any news of it coming to streaming or anything like that. And I really I liked this movie quite a lot. It was a bright star. I think it was the Chattanooga Film Festival. It was a bright star for me from that.
So,
And
mhm.
I definitely recommend it to people who work in creative fields or who are creative in their life in some way. People interested in creativity in general, because that's what it's ultimately about. And I don't know. I really hope that it gets the light of day, because it's an inspiring movie to me. I think it's would be pretty high on a more general list of favorite movies this year. So there's that, and then the other one that was probably not going to get a wide release is a short called "To Fire You Come at Last," which I talked about in our Overlook. I think it was Overlook. No, it might have been BFON. BFON, yeah. It was a short at BFON, which is just a great, like, very like colonial British, sort of like Sleepy Hollow-esque, Halloweeny, black and white short. I just really liked it, and I hope that it's available somewhere that you can watch it soon, if not already. I haven't looked in a while. Anyway, so I just want to bring up a couple things that I wasn't sure we'd get to talk about otherwise.
Nice. Juice, what about you?
So the first one I'm going to mention is a Korean film that we were able to see at BFON, but it is available. I did double check. And so first, it's called Her Hobby, and it's by a director named Ham Young Mi. And this one, so there's been a couple Korean films that have come out this year that are going to make my just like top overall. Like, I really enjoyed these films this year. And this is the one that's tied closest to horror. But the reason it kept it out of the top 10 is because it's not like quite horror, it's more like grounded horror. So it's based on a younger woman a Korean woman who's divorced from her husband. And she kind of, which is super taboo already in Korea, and she goes back to kind of live with her grandma out in the sticks in Korea, and like takes on this kind of farming job. And she just has to deal with at first she just kind of has to deal with like general harassment from like the men in town, or just kind of like after. But then she comes into some money, I'll say this, and she doesn't really like, and she's kind of scared because she's worried people are gonna like try to take advantage of her or like try to take it from her. And like her ex-husband comes back along once he finds out she's got some money. So it's got some really whoa.
God damn.
It's got some really grounded horror, especially like from a female perspective, I think. But there's no monsters, there's no, lurking around or whatever. But yeah, this is this director's debut. And this is the one when BFON was done, I was like, I wish I had an opportunity to go to that director's Q&A, because I follow her now on Instagram, and she's one of those directors who I'm really excited to see what she does next, because I was really impressed by this film. And I thought it just told a really interesting, relatable type of story from a perspective that's just not given a lot of light. And it is available. She had a link where you can rent it on YouTube. So it is available to rent on YouTube. So yeah, it's just the one I wanted to sing its praises, and it's very high on my list. And the only reason it got kept out of the top 10 was because it just didn't have that horror thread as much, but it's very, very high. It was very close. So yeah, Her Hobby, check that one out.
Oh,
Nice.
Bob, what you got?
I'll start by talking about a movie called Sick of Myself. This is a foreign film. I cannot remember where it came from off the top of my head. But it's basically, it's kind of like a body horror movie. It definitely is commenting on like people's present day's need for validation via social media and things like that. It's about a girl who's very beautiful. She's trying to break into like the modeling space. She's trying to build a career out of modeling. She's having trouble doing so. She comes across an agency that specifically hires people who might not have like traditionally beautiful bodies. And she's on this medication that has a terrible side effect should you take way too much of it. That sort of like makes your flesh really kind of disfigured. So she intentionally orders a shitload of it and starts taking way too much so that she will look different, and then will then be picked up by this agency and get the validation that she's so hungry for.
Shit.
And it's really an uncomfortable, kind of intense movie that does have like a little bit of comedy in it, but it sort of presents itself in this like holy fucking shit kind of way. Like you can't really believe that someone would go to like these depths of this. It's like such a depraved thing to do to yourself. It's really, really good though, but it's one of those movies that, like, I don't know if I need to watch it more than once kind of thing. But yeah, it's called Sick of Myself. I know Vinegar Syndrome put out a really nice Blu-ray copy of it, but you can rent it like on VOD anywhere, so it's pretty easy to find. Check out Sick of Myself.
Nice.
Randy, you got
that's not that one even on my radar. So nice.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard of that ever.
Boom.
I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to start with one that I just think is kind of criminally underseen, rather than, just, there are a few things that I really do want to mention otherwise, but this one, I want to make sure that people are aware that it's quite good. It's called Unseen. I forget where it's streaming, but I saw it on streaming, so it's out there. Maybe Hulu. And it's a movie set in Florida about a gas station cashier at a very Florida-themed gas station,
Oh.
gets a call from a woman who, I forget what the deal is. Oh no, you know what? Something, she gets connected on the phone with this woman who is being chased by her now ex-boyfriend, and he has taken her glasses or knocked her glasses and broken them. She can't see where she's going, so she's basically her eyes for this person.
Oh, whoa.
That's the starting point for this movie. It kind of goes to some crazy places. It edges on horror comedy a lot of the time. There's definitely a lot of like Florida jokiness, like jokes at Florida's expense and things like that. Not as much as would make me a little defensive, so that's good. I like this movie quite a bit. I think that it's not like the world's greatest thing by any means. It's not something that would touch my top 10. It doesn't, but it is one that I think is worth people's watch. And I just haven't seen anybody talking about it or that know about it. I think it's worthy of a Sunday afternoon watch. And just, I don't know, just not enough people know about it is really the key crux of it. I think it ends on an interesting note. For those who are big Breaking Bad people, the person who works at the gas station is actually a gas station attendant in an episode of that, in a couple episodes of that. That is grilled by Hank Schrader at one point. So, and she's a great actor. She does a great job. I just think it's Missy Pyle is in it in a very bombastic role that I think is great. I think is really funny. Yeah, it's a decent movie. I recommend.
Cool. Juice, you got another one?
Yeah, I've talked about this several times throughout the year. I even got to cover it, but still, I think it's one of those kind of underseen ones. So I'll reiterate. But Baby Ruby was one that was fighting for a spot in the top 10. I got to cover this one with Caitlin over at Plug It Up, and it's got our boy Jon Snow in it. But it really it deals with this new mother who has a baby for the first time, and it deals with the kind of true horror of that, but in a more kind of horrific way. Like there's some like horror elements that like also play into that, but it's kind of playing off of the ideas of like your body transforms. So there's a lot of body horror in this, and then like some kind of like paranoia and like how it fucks with your mind, your lack of sleep, shit like that. But playing like, so taking those real life themes and then weaving them into a type of horror film. I just thought it was really well done, and it offers a perspective that was like really refreshing to me. I feel like some things have, danced around some of those things. You have stuff like Rosemary's Baby and stuff, but this was one of the first like real life things where I thought it touched on things that are just almost never discussed. There's one point where two mothers have this dialogue, like a mother-in-law, so she would be the grandma at this point, with the woman talking about how she got so tired and so frustrated and felt so alone and isolated that she like the thought of like, I wish my baby was dead popped into her mind. Like it deals with some things that I think are just good to see on like to hear the perspective of, but also ties them into a really interesting horror film. So yeah, Baby Ruby. I recommend people check that out. Bob, what you got for us? What else you recommend?
I'm going to recommend another sort of social media driven movie called Influencer.
Okay. I've heard of this one.
Yeah, this one's on Shudder, so it's really easy to find. It is about a social media influencer who's like this beautiful girl who goes to like all these really exotic places and just takes pictures of herself using various things that are given to her for free, whatever, just to help sell them and promote them. She's an influencer, you know what that is. And
What?
she makes a friend along the way. She makes a friend along the way, and the girl that she meets ends up stealing her identity and going on these very lavish trips. She's like very, very tech savvy, and you kind of start getting the notion that maybe she's done something similar like this before. And she gets into some trouble along the way, and some of the social media influencers, like family and friends, kind of maybe start figuring out what the deal is. And she just gets the situation gets worse and worse from there. There's some really tense moments in it. It does have the benefit of like these really gorgeous sets, and you're on these like islands with like crystal blue water, and it's a very beautiful, like the locations are just beautiful, and it's an interesting story with a lot of really tense moments, solid performances, and sometimes the stuff that hits Shutter can be a bit dodgy, but this is definitely one of my favorites of the Shutter originals for this year. So check
Nice.
out Influence.
Nice.
Man, I got
Yeah,
a
I have
growing
seen that
list
poster a
here.
lot. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I kind of brushed it aside. I thought because we
that
got a
makes sense.
decent,
Yeah.
we got a decent amount of those last year, even too. There was one
Mhm.
similarly named. I thought about the girl who's an influencer. She hooks up with this girl she knew in elementary school or something, and like hit her in the face. I can't remember what that movie was.
Oh
called.
yeah, that fucking
Was
I can't remember the
was
name of
that
that.
also named Influencer?
Oh, Sissy.
Oh no, yeah, it was
Sissy,
called
yeah,
Sissy.
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, there was the yoga one we watched this year too for the
That's
festival.
Mind,
Yeah,
Body,
there's a lot
Spirit,
of-
but that
okay.
hasn't been released on streaming as far
Okay,
as I've
Uh,
I
seen.
gotcha. Okay. Randy.
Whew.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. I think I'm gonna bring up. I think House of Usher is too obvious, man. It's a great fucking show.
It's great.
And
It's
I
so
think-
good.
I just
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
let's
had it.
just
I
fucking
didn't
do
know
it.
if you're gonna
It's a
bring it
good
up.
fucking
Yeah.
show. Yeah, like I don't want to harp on it too much because it's just good. I think most people are in agreement on this. I don't think I really need to make that stand for that movie.
Well, to be fair, we
So-
make assumptions. Like we see a shit ton of movies. Maybe there's people who haven't checked it out. So to be fair,
No, that's true.
One of
Well,
the
I
best
just- I
things on
wanted to set
Netflix
it
this
as-
year.
it's one of the best horrors this year that has.
Yeah.
that came out.
Yeah, it would have
Sure,
been
yeah.
pretty goddamn close to the top spot if it was considered on our movie list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely true, but I wanted to kind of highlight Yellow Jackets because I feel like that's underseen. I finally got caught up on that this year. I had heard good things for many years. I've heard good things for a year or two. And yeah, that's a fucking fun show, man. That show is like it's not as like heady necessarily as like your House of Ushers or anything like that, but it is bombastic as fuck. The performances are killer. The cast is incredible for this show. Unfortunately, it's only available through Showtime, so you got to have that extra subscription to see it,
No.
and that's the drag of it. But I watched like all of this. Beck and I watched all of this pretty quickly for us as a duo. And I'm just kind of chomping at the bit for more, so I'll be getting that service when they kick it back into gear.
Mhm.
I don't know when that'll be because the strike I think threw those things out of whack, but we shall see. Hopefully there is another one. I'm praying that they're not trimming it because I have no fucking idea what state Showtime is in general. But it's a good show. Check it out. Now, for those who don't know, it's about a team of high school girls in the 90s who a soccer team who have a plane crash. They land in the Canadian wilderness and are forced to fight for survival there. Things get fucked up, and throughout the series, you're seeing that stuff play out while flashing forward to modern day and seeing some of the survivors of that and how they're dealing with their lives and things that happen to them now and how they may or may not reconnect and shit like that. It's very, very good. It's a good. I don't know what else to say. It's good. Check it out.
Nice. Juice. What's another one?
I think this will probably be my last one because all the other ones are like kind of bigger. We've covered them in some capacity or something, but I'll say I brought it up I think last week and what you've been watching or recently. It was that one Attachment, which I kind of just watched, kind of randomly a little bit. I think it was also on Shudder, and the big highlight for me that I mentioned was that it's Jewish horror, Jewish-based horror, which is just not something that exists much at all, not in any kind of deep quality, at least. Very small. There's some, but just not a lot. And I didn't even know that going into it. I just kind of threw it on. And yeah, it was very interesting. I mentioned before, it's a slower burn, so a lot of it is kind of like it spends a lot of time developing these characters, but in a very rich way. There's kind of 3 to 4-ish main characters that play into this, and they all kind of have their perspective and their prerogative. And it's one of those things where they don't necessarily communicate with each other out of like past traumas or suspicious or something like that, but where like if you're like, no, if you do, like it would be better, but so it's got this like tense moments where you're kind of like going on this ride and you have pieces that other ones don't know, but then you're kind of in the dark about some things too. So yeah, it was pretty well crafted. I love the kind of folklore aspect of it too, of like what's going on, and there's some kind of like rituals going on, so you get to see these different aspects of it. And yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. I had no expectations going in, and then when I was done, I was like, wow, I quite enjoyed that one. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that one. Attachment, thought it was good. Yeah,
Nice.
Nice.
Bob,
My
you
last
wanna do
one.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump in with just one more. I wanted to mention a television show that we talked about a little bit on the Slack. I did a mini cast for this too. It's called Swarm.
Oh yeah.
This is on Amazon, and it was co-created by Donald Glover and someone else that I'm blanking on the name of. It's I want to say 6 or 8 episodes, and it's about this young woman living in Atlanta who's really she loves this pop artist who's very clearly modeled after Beyonce, and she's somewhat obsessive and also a bit psychotic, and she ends up going to these Facebook groups and like Reddit threads, and she's finding people that are talking shit about her favorite pop artist, and she finds them. She finds out where they live, and she murders them. And
So it's a Bayhive thing.
yes,
Taylor Swifty deal.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an interesting kind of like slasher take. It's rare to see like a woman slasher. She's a young Black lady living in Atlanta who just like fucking kills people. And the show does some interesting stuff too that I really like, where it breaks format. So the vast majority of the episodes are very similar, but then you'll have like these one-off episodes that just are shot in a totally different way, or they've got some like news bits that are taken from like reality and stuck in there. And it's even got some interesting cameos. Like there's a Billie Eilish cameo in there, and she does a great job. Actually, it's an interesting show. If you like horror slasher stuff, you want like something a little bit different, I'd really recommend checking it out. Also, the soundtrack is just banger after banger after banger. It's great.
Nice.
Donald Glover just can't miss, man. I think pretty much everything he touches is pretty solid.
Who does he think he is? Mike Flanagan?
Right? Yeah.
Dude, if he gets cast in a Flanagan production,
Dude,
I'm gonna shit.
If Flanagan
my
made a
pants.
rap album, I don't know if it'd be so good.
Fair enough.
I don't think he'd be quite as good at
Oh.
crossing those streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna. You got something else? Randy?
I thought that was my last bite of the apple here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
No.
So there is one
we're
other thing
wrapping it up. So
I was gonna mention Dream Scenario, but since I already talked about that earlier when Justin asked, I'm gonna jump over to another film that I haven't heard whether or not it's getting wide distribution, but it won Best in Show in the Chattanooga Film Festival, and I wrote a write-up on it called American Meltdown. And again, kind of like horror is a stretch, but this is a fucking fascinating movie. I'm gonna read the back of the box, aka the IMDb log line here, or at least some of it. They call it a millennial coming of age story about a young woman who loses her job and struggles to pay rent until she befriends a pickpocket who convinces her that the only way to survive in America is by committing petty crimes. This movie's fun as fuck. It touches on some shit. It is clearly directed directly at our generation.
Mhm.
So if you are of this age, if you are struggling through your middle ages, as we tend to be, then this is a movie that you should check out if and when it comes to streaming. I just want to sing its praises one more time before the end of the year. So we can move on now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a good one.
I didn't get to see that one.
Worth it.
Well, check it out when you can, Jews.
No.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for our honorable mentions. But we did also want to take some time and talk about some trends that we noticed throughout the year of 2023 in horror, good and bad. I got some jotted down. Did you guys notice anything that you wanted to mention before I rattle off some things that I thought of?
I have 4 different strands that I've noticed, and some of them I've touched on already. One of which, though, that I really feel like we need to talk about or needs to be noted is goddamn Australia. Australia
for
is
sure.
pulling out all the stops in the horror genre right now. Like this, they kind of owned horror this year. Between it doesn't just talk to me. I mean, like, I got a list.
Well,
here.
they got some that'll be dropping next year too,
Next
which
year
are going to
too,
be
yeah.
bangers.
Dude, it's incredible what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
They had Evil Dead Rise even, which was a huge release this year.
Yeah.
They talked to me. There's one that we're going to talk about shortly that I have listed here.
Oh yeah.
As a looking forward to. You'll Never Find Me, which I don't know if that ever came out.
That's coming for next year
did it?
too. So
Okay,
that'll
so I
be
guess
next
Yeah,
year
it's gonna hit Shutter early next
in
year.
February, I
And then
think.
Godless was a Aussie film. Like
Godless
there's
is
just
Australian, yeah.
when we were in
Mhm.
the Overlook, it seemed like every movie that people were buzzing about, they're like, and it was filmed in Australia. Like it just really owned that event in particular. It seemed like
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. So I hope they keep it coming. Like Babadook is like sort of the Aussie movie I went to when I thought about Aussie horror, and it
The
seems
Loved
like
Ones is always one I remember.
Yeah, there's-
Yeah,
and
that's
then
yeah.
The
but like the
Invisible
one that's
Man,
always
yeah.
sort of the king of Aussie horror
Sure,
to me
sure.
has been Babadook for years, and now Talk to Me came out, and that has a direct line to that movie. I'm excited to see what's
Mhm.
going on over there. I hope that they just keep it up. Basically,
Me too.
There's
Yeah.
also Run Rabbit Run, which was a Netflix movie,
Yeah,
was
which I didn't love, but
Australian. I did not get to watch that. And the one the one that you don't want to mention, I just might as well. Late Night with the Devil, Australian, comes out
Oh
next
my
year.
lord.
that's
Good
gonna be a
shit.
banger forever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I had that jotted down too. Australia's popping off, man. Good stuff. Juice, did you have something?
Like trend wise?
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, I guess well, I mean, we mentioned it before, but the surprise one for me that I didn't actually have jotted down was like all this World War II stuff going on, which
Yeah, I didn't.
it was weird for me to kind of realize that, midway through our list. But yeah, I just we said Godzilla, Brooklyn 45, maybe El Conde has some ties to there. There was another one I've already forgotten. And and maybe even to just like a retro vibe, because some that we know are coming out next year, we'll kind of touch on that too. But I don't, these period pieces, and I've said it before, I would welcome having, I think maybe too, because we talk about budgets and we'll talk about it in another aspect as well, but we talk about horror budgets and maybe being like super limited or maybe not willing to take a chance on period pieces and stuff like that. And I understand that can be a miss, but I'm hoping things like last year Prey came out, and I know they're doing a sequel to that's going to be like another period piece. I can't remember what it was though, like French
Neither.
Revolution.
Oh, I think
or
it is
something?
World War II, isn't
Is
it?
it maybe World War II?
I think it might be.
Yeah, an Apache or Navajo code talker, I think, is going to be tied into that. So yeah, I guess it would be World War II, or is that World War One? I don't know, but yeah. So anyways, I just hope like horror gets an opportunity. I know maybe you need a little bit more money, but I mean, even Godzilla Minus One was made with what, 15 million? So you don't have to, but one thing I really liked about Godzilla Minus One was seeing Japan during that time of just like not in the way that they're typically presented as maybe this enemy from an American standpoint or something, but just like the everyday people, the houses, how they're living, how Tokyo's coming up, but also as just this setting for a horror movie. I think that's really fascinating. I think it gives way to some beautiful aesthetics. And so, yeah, that was kind of a cool one that popped up, and I hope more kind of period pieces pop up along the way.
I totally agree. And like the World War II thing is interesting. I feel like that's got to have something to do with just like social anxieties, because we always tend to go back to World War II stories when we're looking for stories where the bad guys are unambiguous or at least partially unambiguous.
Yeah, very clear.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that what's happening now is it's not that's what like Band of Brothers did, but this year we got things like Brooklyn 45 where that's called into question, and like I don't know, interesting shit for sure.
Yeah.
Bob, do you have another trend you wanted to point out?
Yeah, sure. I've got some jotted down here. One I wanted to mention was like liminal horror, kind of started last year, I guess, but continuing through this year and definitely next year, we got more coming. Skinamarink was the biggest one this year for sure. I did not actually see Enisman, but it looked like it had some similarities with that kind of
You
thing.
said it was like that, right? But Juice.
Well, liminal, not really. It's really just like minimalistic, I would say. It's just because it's not necessarily. It's actually
Okay.
a lot of it's out in the open. She's on an island, but as in some, but it's more minimalist. I would just say, like almost no dialogue, long shots of just like one thing, and sometimes repeated. Okay, is that what you're talking? Okay.
So yeah, liminal. I don't know if
Yeah, liminal. I'm thinking
think
about
he
like
might
the
be pointing at-
hallways and shit.
yeah, I was thinking more. Yeah, like the back rooms or whatever. And that I think
Backroom.
we're
Yeah.
talking about the same thing, but it's not. I think from what I recognize that as is analog horror. Is what Skinamarink is, what Outwaters is, like those sort of things.
Yeah, I guess that is what I'm describing with calling
analog.
it liminal. Because I would say like Outwaters for sure. We're All Going to the World's Fair is kind of in the same vein as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Backrooms movie that got greenlit for, I assume is going to come out next year as well. So there's a bit of a trend.
It's really minimal movies, yeah.
Minimalistic, yeah, but like a lot of repetition, a lot of
grainy, like really
grainy. There's not a lot happening on screen most of the time.
Things that allow your imagination to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, to make it scarier, make it interesting. And like that sounds
like,
boring, and to the right person, it is boring.
Really ambiguous.
Like people that are stuck in this transitional space is what I think of as like a liminal horror movie. And it seems to be very repetitive and slow moving. And
I think what we're talking about has a huge crossover, but is a little different. Liminal is like kind of specifically about what you just said.
This bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also in a kind of way, isolation too. You know, where there are these people that are stuck in a place or feel stuck or just like have to communicate through technology where there's nobody else around or something. Yeah.
It's a good. I'm psyched about that trend so much, and like like I already talked about with Skinamarink with Outwaters. It's just like it feels like this wave is starting to build. Backrooms is coming. I'm hoping that it's not like dead already sort of thing, but I'm hoping also that because of the writer strike and the actor strike last year, that maybe some of these things got progressed further than they would have otherwise, and just sort of like a replacement. And I guess only time will tell, and hopefully it's not like, according to YouTube, that trend is already dead. So fucking take that with whatever grain of salt.
Well, I mean, people. I mean, at the same time, too, people would say things like "found footage is dead," but we still get quality.
Right.
You know, maybe it's not as maybe it won't be as saturated or as big a boom as we think it is, but I think it's going to be something that's going to crop up from time to time. We'll be like, whoa, you know, that's a good representation of that or something. So yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got another one?
Sorry. Yeah, I got another one. I was gonna point, and this is like tangential. This is kind of pretty related, but and I brought it up earlier. It's just like the sudden bursting of YouTube into film world.
Yeah,
we had, like I said, Skinamarink. We talked about that already. Like Onyx and Onyx the Fortuitous. Talk to Me, like all of our number one this year.
Yeah.
And then like next year we've got that Chris Stuckman has that movie coming out, Shelby Oaks, and like there's YouTube is like not just a breeding ground for creative people anymore. It's now a breeding ground for potential film properties, which for better and for worse, I'm sure. But like for the most part, this traditionally that has been a losing gambit, and just now, as of the past year or so, it started with like these smaller productions like Skinamarink, extremely small productions and things like that. But they're finally kind of opening that up. Some of the coffers are opening up to make this sort of thing, and that ties directly into like that liminal stuff and the analog horror stuff. That's all coalescing together. But I'm just interested because like I do spend a lot of time on YouTube. It's one of the things I watch the most, probably, or have on the most anyway. And you know, it's 99.99% nothing nothing worth talking about. But that 0.01%, man, like I'm glad that like the cream is rising on that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. More to come, I'm sure. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good shit. Did you have another trend you wanted to mention
Well,
here?
I mean, I guess the negative one is unfortunately, it's just like the big budget horror where like this kind of cross of everything that's getting money feels like so cheap, but also is finding a lot of success, I think, in the crowds that aren't typically maybe into horror, or but also the crossover too. You know, your Five Nights at Freddy's, your I mean, even to a point, Scream 6, you know, which luckily the 7 is hit some road bumps, so fuck
Yeah.
them maybe. But
Yeah.
but you know, The Nun 2 making as much money and as much success. I mean, I was saying this, some hardcore horror fans this week, I saw some list popping up. Saw X #1, 5 out of 5's, blowing my mind and made a
That
lot
does
of
blow my mind.
money and stuff. And I'm just like, man, that's the negative trend that is picking up some steam with the horror crowds and stuff. And it's a huge bummer to me. I feel like Bob said, Five Nights at Freddy's made a ton of money, and it's just a lot of these things feel very soulless, very cookie cutter, very paint by numbers. Feels like there's no love or artistic value in a lot of them, and some of them have some really fucked up messaging going on, like with Saw X, and I'm just like, man,
So,
Yeah.
I want to just like kind of piggyback on yours
Yeah, sure.
real quick.
nope, it's mine.
It's all mine. You're
You
so
are a piggyback.
some of the movies that you're touching on play into this. So this has been like I would assume James Wan's most profitable year of his career, period, because several franchises that he created had sequels. Also, he produced a really fantastic, a movie that was pretty good that did really well, and also he directed another movie. So you got Saw X, which obviously he directed the original, made over $100 million. Insidious: The Red Door, which is the fifth Insidious movie franchise he created, made 190 million. These are worldwide numbers, by the way. The Nun 2, also something that he created, made $268 million. He actually got a story credit and produced Mithrigan, made $180 million, and then he directed that Aquaman sequel, which comes out tomorrow, I think, as of the time we're recording this. So I don't know how much that made, but that dude is cheesed up this year, and he's also like kind of the source of some of the worst movies that came out this year too.
Kind of. No, he is.
He is. Yeah, can't imagine that Aquaman movie is good.
Dude,
I
yeah.
didn't see the first one, but it's true. Like there's like part of me feels like this has been the way it's been forever, you know, like in horror circles, you know, like the thing is like the people who are horror critics now are primarily and more of like amateur horror fans, and a lot like most of them are like us, you know what I mean? People just kind of coming at it from their own love of the genre and things like that. And by and large, the horror community is pretty forgiving of and pretty devoted. So it's devoted to things. That's why we get so many sequels and they still sell like hotcakes. That's why things like Saw X does really well. The concerning part is that it's not just doing well out of duty the way that like Halloween Ends did, despite it being a fucking dumpster fire, but it's doing well critically. Saw X is, and like that's the concerning part. But it is, part of me feels like it's kind of been like this forever. It's just, I don't know. There's critically has not been happening this way. That's the thing where it feels like maybe it's just because people are hard up still for like the good shit. This year we talked about this throughout the years. Like it seemed really light. We've managed to fill it out.
Yeah,
by the end.
There's some good gems. But
totally.
overall, I don't think I mentioned this in the Slack. I don't think I gave any movie, even like outside horror, a 5. I don't think I did.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think I did, but I don't remember what ones it was. But
Godzilla -1 is I think the only 5-star I gave.
Think me too. And like Talk to Me eats that like in
maybe
my top 10. Both of our top 10.
I don't know. Yeah.
But like I think I gave it a 4.5 because it was like I want to see how I feel about it in a year, and I think I'm close enough to know that it's a great fucking movie. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I put like money is always going to be channeled, especially right now, especially in Hollywood right now, to the surest bet. And there's only a few exceptions to that, and the best movies that we saw this year, by and large, mostly are coming from companies that are willing to step outside a line a little bit, and that may speak to our place as the kind of horror fans we are. But the broader trend of like Insidious Red Door doing great despite being very mediocre, in my opinion, is just the way it's always been. It's going to do well. It has the things you recognize in it.
Yeah, for sure. Brandy, did you have another one that you wanted to mention?
The last one is the one I mentioned earlier, and it's more or less covered at this point, which is the presence of anxiety films, like films that are the horror is coming out of an anxious place. And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I'm like, the thing that I think I'm a pretty hard. It's pretty difficult for me to feel afraid, feel scared in a film.
Yeah.
And I think that the surest bet to me feeling afraid, feeling like horror at a horror movie, besides the conceptual, like actually feeling like, oh my God, like my heart race or any of that shit, is through anxiety, because that's something that I recognize. It's something I deal with every fucking day. And like, I can say like, oh, this isn't real or whatever, but if it immerses me and it's anxiety inducing, that opens the door for me to actually be afraid of a horror movie. And so I'm excited that there's like Skinamarink did that for me. Infinity Pool did that for me. Beau is Afraid did that for me. I'm looking forward to Civil War, the new Alex Garland film, for that reason. Because I don't know, and it's not like that's a new thing. It's like the sensation of being anxious and using that, like that's Hitchcocky, and that goes way back. But I'm glad that there's a lot of tentpole movies in this year that really kind of used that leverage on me and used it to great effect, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, dude.
There was
Go
one
ahead.
more. I want to see if maybe you guys could help fill this out a little bit, just because it just popped in my mind, where it's carrying over from last year. So trends not necessarily set for this year, but I can see kind of continuing on a little bit. And so we already harped on like the sequels and those kind of things, but there are also some pieces of horror that seem like pretty original, but also to me seem like very, very, very recycled, almost like a type of fashion coming back. Like we've been joking, like the big baggy pants are coming back, and it's like slightly different a little bit in their own way. They're not the Jinkos you knew and loved. They're kind of slightly different, but so one thing that pops out, we mentioned Smile earlier, which I would say would be the one that came from last year, where it came out and I was like, oh, this is very much like something like It Follows, something like that. Where like Mithrigan this year got a lot of praise too, where I was just like, yeah, it's original, and I'm glad that we're getting some original horror movies, but almost every beat or thing about it, other than the dance, which kind of like turns it into this meme, felt very recycled, felt like I had seen it a lot, and was very surprised then that it got a lot of praise, because I was like, man, this just feels like this kind of conglomerate of a bunch of other older kind of movies. So I don't know, I kind of want to throw that out there, see if anything else came to y'all's mind with that.
I think the success of Megan is largely from a younger generation. That probably didn't see Child's Play or whatever else is my only guess. But
well, I mean, for Megan in particular, I think that it is like doing the inhabited doll thing, sort of just in a technological way. But what it's doing that's attractive to people is that like she's doing the dance,
good for
and
TikTok.
She's making a meme, and she's good.
Yeah.
Like she's doing TikTok dances. She's singing Titanium or whatever that fucking song is. She's like it's like very hip in many ways, and and like visually it's an iconic look. I think that she's one of that Megan character, Mithrigan character, is definitely like one of the more iconic things that came out of horror this year. But like as far as what you're talking about, Juice, like in general, like I just think that's the way movies are. Like I don't think that's new. I think that like because this goes back to the everything is a remix shit that documentary I talked about many times, where it's just like you're finding like components, putting them together, and trying to create something new out of them. Now, sometimes what you make isn't as different as you would like it to be, or so like Megan seems a little too close for me also to stuff that I have seen a few times.
Yeah.
But it does have new components in there. It's just that it's not as
It doesn't resonate with
groundbreaking
you,
at the end, and those components aren't specifically resonating with me necessarily.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a new thing. I just think it's
Yeah.
I think it's like just kind of the
How it
nature of
goes.
creation.
Or just crash
Like,
the old
a truly
bitches.
original thought that comes out of the ether and nowhere doesn't exist. That's not a thing that's ever
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
You come with ideas based on things you've seen, experienced, or realized from the things you've seen and experienced. So
I have a couple other trends that I wanted to mention that do kind of play into your point, Justin.
Okay.
So there's been a ton of slashers that
Whoa,
came
using
out
my
this
Christian
year.
name over there.
I'm so sorry. Juice. Stain. The Stain boy. There's been really just an insane amount of slashers that came out this year, and a lot of them do take familiar plot tropes and ideas from other slasher movies, but also from just like other movies and try and blend them in with slashers. And they're trying to do this weird sort of genre mashup.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had Thanksgiving, Scream 6, Sick, It's a Wonderful Knife specifically does that genre blend. Totally Killer also does that genre blend. The Conference, We Might Hurt Each Other. Winnie the Pooh is this other like kind of weird trend that's emerging where we take these like very childlike safe properties and just turn them into slashers. The Jester, there's so many slashers that came out this year, and that's just sort of a trend.
Terrifier came back.
Yeah, they showed Terrifier again in the theater. Maybe both of them, and I think it made a shitload of money again. So
Yeah.
that's a trend that's not going away and does like slightly evolve with each passing year, but it's always at its core kind of the same thing. And also, Universal Monsters seem to be like kind of coming back in a pretty big way. We had Renfield this year, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Neither one of those did very well, by the way. But also, when we'll talk more, this isn't necessarily Universal Monsters. Nosferatu is coming out next year. We also had a shitload of Frankenstein movies this year. We had The Angry Black Girl and the Monster. We had Poor Things that just came out, Birth, Rebirth. We already got a trailer next year for Lisa Frankenstein. Also, Del Toro is currently working on his Frankenstein movie for Netflix, I think.
That's the only one that matters.
I mean, that is going to be the one, right? Yeah.
I've heard good things about Poor Things, though.
I have too. I want to see it. I haven't yet. Apparently, Maggie Gyllenhaal is also going to be developing a Bride of Frankenstein movie. She's directing it.
Oh.
And we're getting that Wolfman movie. They recast who's playing the Wolfman, and I can't remember who it is now. It was going to be...
It was a good casting from what I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I don't know if it's the new one or the old one, so I don't know.
It was going to be fucking what's his name from Drive. It was going to be him, but now it's
Gosling?
Not. Gosling, yeah, but now
really? Oh, okay, that's not the one I was thinking of then.
He's the producer on it now. He's not going to be in it. And also, Larry Fessenden just did a werewolf movie that's coming out next year called Blackout. So there's like definitely a trend of Universal Monsters coming back.
That's cool.
There's a reason. Well, I mean, there is a trend that goes beyond this, but I also think Universal itself is pushing that stuff, in part at least, or by making they have this new theme park they're opening up in Orlando that's going to have a dedicated Universal Monsters land to it.
Oh yeah.
Like I think I know that they're just like pulling from the properties they have, but they always try and support the properties that they put out there. There's a reason that that they did the Harry Potter world so much, and they're doing How to Train Your Dragon world there too, and that's a big property for them that I think that they're putting money into it and they're licensing more and they're kind of gearing up that franchise because it is one of the longest standing and most productive I keep saying franchise, but like I don't know, labels, I don't know what you want to call that shit.
Yeah.
That they have intellectual property stables, let's call it.
Yeah. It's a huge bank of well-known characters and
iconic characters that literally are in American and universally among culture in the Western world.
It's Universal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Sure,
that's
sure,
that's
sure.
a trend that I'm largely stoked about, honestly. So hopefully some
Yeah.
of those movies will be good. We know Del Toro's Frankenstein's gonna slap for sure.
And Nosferatu, which I guess again is not,
Yeah.
but still.
Christopher Abbott replaces Ryan Gosling. I
What's
don't
he
know
been
who
in?
that
I would
is.
need to know what he was in to know that.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I can't remember. I know I recognize his face, but I can't tell you off the dome what else he was in.
Possessor.
Fucking Possessor.
Girls,
solid.
It Comes at Night.
Oh yeah.
Remember. I'm his face. Like I remember him from Possessor. That's just the
Yeah.
movie out
Yeah.
of those that I remember the best.
Well,
Anyway, yeah.
Those are all the trends that I had. Did you guys have anything else you want to throw out before we move on?
Not made of trends, Bob.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right. Well,
that
let's
we
keep
covered a
rolling.
lot.
Done.
That was a
We
lot.
covered
Yeah,
a lot.
that was a lot. Cool. Well, I wanted to just kind of briefly wrap up everything that we did this year. I can kind of run down a list, and you guys can chime in as we're rolling. So we did a lot of stuff this year. We did a whole lot of shit. We put out 52 regular episodes per usual, one show a week. We put out 5 bonus episodes on the main feed, which there were some interviews and stuff, and also some festival wrap ups. Thank you, Rand. Put out 31 mini casts, and all that is exclusive to Patreon. So consider this a Patreon plug. There's well over 100 mini casts on Patreon now. So if you join, you get immediate access to all of that shit. It's a lot. And we got some Q&As on there that you're not going to hear anywhere else.
A delight to the senses, isn't it, my friend?
It is. Mikey and
I
I
hope
over at
so.
Let's Get Physical Media put out 13 shows this year, and also 4 commentaries, which have been a lot of fun. Something a little different we've been doing. So basically all the podcasts that we created within our own little straight chilling family came out to a total of 105 shows this year, which is
Damn, dude. That's
insane.
That's what happens when you're not spending all year working on a documentary.
Who would do such a thing?
Also, well, the new thing too this year, which I think we have the numbers on, is the articles that we did on the website.
We did
Yeah.
a lot of articles. Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
think,
covered a lot of our festival viewings on the website for starters. Like
Yeah.
that was the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I've still got one in the can waiting for something we're going to talk about in
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
It's been sitting
that's
there for
something
months.
Something we hadn't done much before, but yeah, we did about 25 write-ups. It's over on our website, straightchilling.com. Some of them are festival wrap-ups. Some of them are just specific movie reviews of stuff. A lot of stuff that we talked about tonight, and also stuff we didn't talk about tonight. So check
Yeah.
that out too.
Also, Bob, so all of our stuff that, Let's Get Physical Media, YouTube stuff, interviews, that all added up to 105. But also we did like a decent, as we typically do, a number of features. Do we have the exact number of features? Do we know?
Yeah, so I'm counting it as 15 guest spots, but that one show you just did on Arctic Monkeys got split
Became
into
2.
two. So I guess you call that
16.
16
separate shows that you could listen to that we featured on. Yeah.
Yeah, this year.
Prepare your brain for razzle dazzle.
Razzle, dazzle. We also
be talking,
hosted-
boys.
We do be talking.
That is the majority of what we be doing.
We be talking. We also hosted our 3rd annual Chilloween party for all of our patrons. Played horror trivia. Everybody dressed up in really dope costumes.
Yeah.
We did sort of a live commentary this year while we all watched Halloween 3 together, and we made a drinking game for it too, which was extremely fucking fun. Had a really good time doing
Dude,
that.
that was fun as fuck.
Mhm.
Don't you have FOMO, dear listener?
Sign up for Patreon now. Juice, you hosted a couple things over in Korea too.
Yeah, so I got to do the first ever Summer Chills event, which is a popular thing in Korea, just to they tend to release horror movies more in the summer. And so we did some screenings over at the DCC Cafe in Seoul, paired up with the Dark Side of Seoul on that. And we got to watch Whispering Corridors, which is a classic Korean film. And we also did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So shouts outs to everyone who came out to that. It was a lot of fun. It's always nice just finding more and more people to talk horror with, just John about movies with. So we did that in the summertime, and then we got to follow that up with the horror trivia and like the horror gaming day that we had again at DCC for Halloween, which was again a lot of fun, and came down to the wire on the trivia, and yeah, it was a lot of people participating, and so good days in Korea on top of the interviews I got to do at BFON and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good year for Korea participation.
Hell yeah.
Participating in Korea.
Yeah.
We participated in Korea this year.
You
That's
did,
great.
We did.
yeah.
We did it. We did it.
안녕하세요.
There you go.
Impressive. I also was fortunate enough to host a Night of the Demons Q&A at a convention down in Orlando this September. The director was there, as well as like 8 of the cast, which is almost the entire cast. It was pretty cool, man. I never had a chance to do anything quite like that before, and there was some like pretty interesting answers that came from the questions. Unfortunately, like I recorded the whole thing, the audio is just unusable. I tried to clean it up too, and there's like people weren't passing microphones or they weren't talking into microphones. Like I recorded maybe half of the words that were said. It's just not usable. But the folks that were there in person seemed to really enjoy it, and it was a lot of fun to do. So that was pretty cool, man. Something different this year.
That's not something we really talked about at all this year, which is fair enough. But we also we were judges for a film festival. We all just kind of did behind the scenes while we were also covering other film. Like we were judges.
We did 4 festivals in a span of like a month and a half,
Yeah,
and one of which we were judging everything that came through.
Yeah, we were just like, we gotta watch all of these.
Yeah,
we watched in the summertime. Like I was watching like sometimes like 4 movies a day.
That's nuts. I don't know how we squeezed it all in, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, we did.
And this year, the festival circuit's not ending.
That's gonna be
tickets are already in the works for some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's something we're definitely going to continue doing. So yeah, we covered BFON, Fantasia, Chattanooga, Overlook Film Festival. And that's something we want to keep doing. It's been a lot of fun meeting new folks out there, seeing new movies, and it's always fun traveling and like just talking about movies with other nerds from other areas of the country, areas of the world too. Sometimes you get to play trivia with Mick Garris, and it's just a good time. It's just a good time.
Yeah, sometimes you get to sit down with all old boy, Jamie and Sheik.
You need a whole squid squirming in your mouth.
You shared one like Lady and the Tramp. So
of course, split it. But no, I mean I got to meet our boy now Franklin Rich and like learn more about Jacksonville filmmaking and stuff like that, and just it's a great way to just meet.
I'm not
people.
jealous.
It's just a great way to meet other just film nerds. We all just want to just sit and talk about movies, which is awesome.
The majority of this podcast has been us just fucking around with each other and like occasionally like meeting new folks through their interest in us, and us actually taking an interest in going outside of our door and meeting other people has been very, very rewarding. So if you get a chance to keep track of where we're going to be this year, keep an eye open and come say hi to us. It's good fun to meet you folks. So
say what up, nerds.
Make me a celebrity, please.
Oh yeah, that's what we want.
Let's take this parasocial relationship to the 3D realm.
I got a few more things I want to mention. We did about 10 watch parties. Most of those were Joe Bob. We also did a watch party for the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, which was also a lot of fun. Hopefully
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Hopefully they do that again next year, and we can all watch it together. We also did a lot of YouTube shit. Of course, all of our 52 normal shows are up on YouTube with the behind the scenes videos. We also, Juice, you put out, I think, 8 episodes of Creature Comforts this year. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's Justin's spinoff show where he has guests on and they talk about horror adjacent stuff that's only on YouTube. Check that out. Also released 4 Tiki videos on YouTube this year, and I think you had about 6 or so other like video game related / like ranking episodes that we did.
Okay.
That came out this year too. So a lot of shit on YouTube.
In short, we have done so fucking much this year. So fucking much.
Have you heard of our podcast?
Not yet, but you will.
Oh yeah. So that's I think everything that I had. Did I miss anything? Can you think of anything that I didn't touch on?
Nah, man.
Nah.
I don't think so, but I will say, I mean, like talking about creature comforts, but also too, I mean, we talked about features we were doing, but shouts outs to everyone who helped. I mean, we, helped us with these things. We had guests on several shows. Every time I do a creature comforts is a different special guest coming on to take time out of their, life to talk with us and stuff. So, thank you to everyone who spends time to call into our show, to help us make the show, contribute to our show so that we can do these things.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
We
you
had
all
Rachel,
so much.
we had
everyone,
Nicole,
yeah.
we had Caitlin, we had Vicky, aka Nightmare Raven, we had Matt, and Mikey, of
Mikey.
course.
Yeah.
More Nicole, damn. More Caitlin.
More
Mike.
Damn.
More Mike.
Damn. I mean, we
Oh
have
my
more
God.
Matt.
Miles.
I mean, for creature comforts alone, shouts outs to Corey. Matt
Yeah.
did one with me. Seth did one with me. Jacqueline from A Cut Above did one with me.
G-Baby?
G-Baby did one with me. Caitlin did 2 with me. Oh, I don't want to miss anybody. I think I got everyone, but yeah, so shouts outs to everyone who did one this year.
Man, we are very grateful, and we are taking forever
Nicole.
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a big thanks to everybody that supported us on Patreon over the course of this year. There were a lot of you guys, and everything you guys contribute truly helps us do everything that we just explained that we did.
It
Like,
really helped this year. Yeah, really.
A
I mean, it
lot.
always has, but yeah, it really helped.
Yeah, we can't really overstate that enough. We really appreciate the fuck out of it. Seriously, thank you guys. And we try to create as much extra stuff for Patreon subscribers as we can, as much as we have the time to do.
It's all about
our boy
quantity,
Warren.
boys.
Shouts outs to Warren, man,
Warren.
who came
Oh,
on
yeah,
and
Warren.
did 4 bonus episodes with us
mini-casts,
talking
yeah.
about The Simpsons. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Warren.
Warren's
And wrote
the
a
dude.
damn
If
good
you-
book too.
If you like The Simpsons, yeah, pick up his book and
Collecting
listen to his
Simpsons.
listen to his podcast. Simpsons is greater than. Everybody that grabbed a U pick this year, I jotted down the top 3 scores of the U picks this year. I wanted to give a quick shout out.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So coming in at number 3 with the Mist, Brandon S. That got a 4.6 from us.
What was
number
that? I'm sorry, I missed
The Mist
the Mist. Okay.
with a 4.6. Coming in the number 2 spots, Alex K chose this movie. It is 7, and that got a 4.7 from us.
Whoa.
And clinching the number 1 spot, this is your boy Nate. Shouts outs to Nate. The movie is The Cabin in the Woods with a 4.9.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Some good ones. Yeah.
Nice.
Man,
Yeah.
Cabin in
some
the
good
Woods
picks.
is definitively better than 7. I think we can all agree.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we certainly can.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's uh-huh. Anything else? Anything else we need to mention, or anybody else we need to?
We're
Shouts
forgetting
outs,
something,
or
and we're
I
just gonna
know
have
we
to live
are.
with it.
I know.
I
we
know.
are.
I
We
don't.
have done
I'm
so
like
fucking much,
doing, like
and
to
we're-
not leave anyone out. Like just yeah. Thank you for being on our show. If you were on our creature
Yeah.
comforts or anything
Yeah.
like that, Miles.
If you're listening to
was
this right
just
now,
on.
thank
You
you. Jesus
know.
Christ. Yeah, Miles
Yeah.
was just on.
Yeah.
There's truly like, we're putting out a lot of shit. We're doing a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a job by any means. It feels like fun, and that
Yeah,
is
it's fun
largely
as hell,
because
yeah.
Feels like a fun
because-
job.
it is a fun job. Yes, and it's that's largely because you guys are out there, rooting for us and doing stuff with us and all that shit. So thank you.
Yeah. Also, just a general thanks to everybody that hung out with us on Slack this year. The Slack community is strong as ever, and it's awesome chatting with you guys every day on there. So if you are a member of our Slack, thanks for hanging out with us. And if you'd like to join, just let us know, and I'll send you a link so you can join. Be a
All
part of the
right,
fun.
Jesus Christ,
the end.
we're good.
Get to the end.
I think
All
we
right, that's-
have all the thanks and all the
I think-
fish that we can
I
give.
think that's it. Let's cap this episode off with taking a quick look ahead at the year of 2024. There's quite a lot of movies that have been announced already, and a lot of them already have release dates. So I've got a list made up here, and I'll just go month to month. You guys can jump in as I rattle them off
Right.
if you feel so inclined. So January 5th, we got Night Swim dropping. January 12th. Yeah, I don't know about that. January 12th, Destroy All Neighbors hits Shudder. The 19th movie, it's a slasher called Founders Day that I don't know about. The 26th, Sometimes I Think About Dying and The Seeding both come out January 26th. We've seen those via festivals.
Oh,
and
yeah. So,
You,
yeah, I had to take the seating out of my top 10. So I
me
know
too.
possibly next year might be more stacked. You know, some of the big directors are going to be, you know, Jordan Peele. We'll talk about it later, but Barnaby Clay, man, he made the seating. I mean, it still could be a top contender, and it's definitely one I look forward to rewatching again. It was fucking good. It's good.
Good firm horror movie.
Yeah, great.
Very
stuff.
good. I loved Sometimes I Think About Dying. It's like very light on the horror though, but it's
Yeah,
I liked it.
But it is, yeah, it was a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. February 2nd, a movie called Imaginary. I'm not sure what that is. Also on February 2nd, a movie called Panico hits Shudder. I believe that is a documentary about fucking Argento. I believe.
Okay.
It's blanking on his name. February 9th, Lisa Frankenstein, which looks pretty interesting. The trailer's out for that.
No, I haven't seen the trailer.
Is that a
We've got
play-
a lot of Frankensteins.
Yeah.
We have. I'm wondering, I haven't seen the trailer for that myself, but is that a play on Lisa Frank?
Yeah, it is for sure.
That
It's-
makes it interesting to me.
This is written by Diablo Cody, and it's got a pretty bright color palette. It looks interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Uh,
All right.
Juice, this one's for you, February 16th. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I know you're going to love that.
Man,
Ooh.
people shout all over that movie, but you know what? Honestly, I would rather watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey right now than the fucking Nun Deuce again. So you know
Me
what?
too. Me too.
Do your thing, cuz.
Yeah.
Moving into March 8th, Love Lies Bleeding drops. It's an A24 joint. Trailer just came out for that. Not sure how horror it's going to be. It looks interesting. It looks
It does
like,
look interesting, yeah.
like a thriller for sure. March 22nd, Late Night with the Devil.
Dude.
Fuck yeah. That's my number one most anticipated fucking movie. That movie wheedled its goddamn way into my brain after we watched it at Overlook so hard that I wrote one of the longest fucking things I've ever written, just talking about the influences I noticed in that movie. And I've sat on it for fucking 6
You got
months.
to, yeah.
More than that.
Wait, it's coming out in April?
No, it's March 22nd, apparently.
March? That's
Almost a year after we saw it,
Yeah.
they'll finally be able to release
Yeah.
this shit.
So
That's
the
very
thing about
spoilery.
this movie, that's kind of a bummer in some ways, because the thing about this movie is this can easily be a Halloween staple movie.
Yeah.
Like one that
Yeah.
you crave or want to watch at Halloween.
I was
like
genuinely convinced they were going to secret drop it during the
I
Shudder
can't
Halloween
believe.
events.
Yeah.
It seemed like it took a while for somebody to pick it up, and I'm not really sure why that is.
I
Me
think they just
neither.
like ran it through every festival they could because they were still doing festivals like
Yeah.
as
Okay.
recently as October.
Well,
March 29th, Ghostbusters on Ice or whatever is coming out. Moving
Ghostbusters
into,
on Ice. That's love that. Yeah.
Moving into April 5th, M. Night Shyamalan's got a new movie. They haven't announced the title yet. April 12th,
Nah,
Godzilla times Kong multiplied by Kong is coming out.
Man, there's a
April-
lot of mathematical
downs
terms and
here.
Godzilla titles these days.
Yeah. April 26th is that Civil War movie, which I am very interested in.
Me too, man.
I'm a
I'm
little.
down.
I'm not as down.
It's a high risk, high reward topic.
Yeah,
Let's just
I
say
especially
agree,
that.
because
yeah.
I usually like if it hadn't maybe been for men, I would be a lot more
Dude, yeah, that was kind of dude.
gung-ho, but oof. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think it seems like it's going to be a little more focused than men. At least just, I think
Yeah.
it would have to be, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But
I only have one for May. May 17th is the first chapter of that new Strangers trilogy is dropping, and I think all three are coming out next year. I think they're all
I-
done. So
I
would,
am not excited about that.
Boring.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. June 7th, The Watchers. I don't remember what that is. June 28th, a movie called Horoscope, and also on June 28th, A Quiet Place Day One. I don't need to see any more Quiet Place movies.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
agree with you.
Especially not a prequel. Like they set up
Yeah.
a set up a
They
third
set
one
up a
that,
conclusion.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
if you want to round it
decency
out,
to
yeah,
Finish your
not a
trilogy before you go
prequel.
back.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
I agree.
Come on, Jim. Get your shit together.
Yeah,
July 19th, a sequel to a classic Twister. The movie is Twisters.
Speaking of, I was watching
I
today
s-
with my parents. That's what. Anytime I come back to Florida, I know I'm gonna watch it at least Twitch because my parents love it, and I like
Yeah.
it a lot. Yeah,
Dude,
I don't
Yeah,
need
if
a
it doesn't have
sequel.
Hips Don't Lie Paxton, then I don't want to see
Dude,
it.
no, yeah, that's a kind of a bummer because Hips Don't Lie is gone and Seymour's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, that's true. That is a bummer.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Okay, I was like,
Seymour.
that's
My boy
go ahead.
Seymour.
I didn't recognize him from his middle name somehow.
Classic Seymour.
Seymour.
I was thinking,
Butts.
like, is Rick Moranis in that movie?
No. Moving on to August 2nd, a movie called Trap. August 9th, Speak No Evil. August 16th,
Fuck that, dude. What the fuck? Speak no
August
evil.
16th, Alien Romulus. I'm excited about that.
Dude, I will allow myself to get excited for that.
Fede
Oh, wow.
Alvarez directed it.
Oh, is
That-
Fede
yeah.
Alvarez? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's Fede Alvarez movie.
Ex-
Yeah.
yeah.
Not because it's an alien movie.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Me too.
September 6th, Beetleman 2 is coming out, which I
No.
don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
I don't
Nothing
really
ever
want
smelled
to.
before in my life.
But you know what? I'm gonna go in with the lowest of not expecting to hate it, but I'm just gonna say this is probably gonna be Duda Brown, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe. Here's hope.
I just see no pathway to that being a
Yeah,
good movie.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna live with. Yeah,
Oh, I agree. Yeah. September 27th, we got two movies coming out. There's an untitled Monkey Paw production, which might be good. Jordan Peele's
Mhm.
company. Also, September 27th, Saw 11, which I don't really care to see.
Ah!
Yeah. Moving into October 18th, Smile 2 comes out. October 25th, we got Wolfman coming out and also Terrifier 3 coming out.
You know what?
Oh.
If Terrifier 3 is a Christmas movie, I'm
Check it out.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I skipped 2 because I value my time in life, but
That's yeah. That's yeah.
Oh, Randy.
when it comes to Christmas movies, I'm a very forgiving young man.
Me too.
November, I don't have anything. But December 25th, Christmas Day, Jordan Peele's new movie, which we don't know what it's called yet, is coming out. And so is Nosferatu.
Damn. If
fuck
there's
yeah.
ever a guaranteed double feature,
Yeah, for sure, dude.
both
I'll
of their
watch that.
fourth
Absolutely.
movies, by the way, they've been
Yeah,
standing like
that's
neck
true.
and neck,
Yeah.
and both of them fantastic directors in their own right. Like,
Those are both coming out Christmas Day.
yes,
Dude, my ass is
Isn't that
going. to the
crazy?
theater.
My family's gonna miss me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you all in 6
Exactly.
hours.
No shit.
Later.
At best.
That's my present for the day. Damn, what a great day of the movies that would be. I hope. I mean,
Yeah.
I assume it will be.
Yeah. There's just a handful of movies that don't have release dates yet. You'll never find me. I couldn't find an exact release date for that, but it's going to hit
Me
Shudder
neither.
early next year, and you want to watch it for sure.
Yeah, that's
Maxine's
another one I
coming
had
out.
to take out. Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say we didn't hear about Maxine yet. So
Oh,
we don't
Max-
have a date
yeah,
on that.
yeah.
I don't have a release date for that, but I'm sure it's coming out next year. That Salem's Lot
already got a-
remake, I think, is coming out finally. And a movie called Long Legs, which is a slasher movie, and I
Yeah.
believe Nick Cage plays the slasher in it. And I'm
Nick Cage is in it,
Excited about
and
that.
Micah Monroe is in it.
dude, fuck yeah.
And
I wonder
do you have?
that it follows sequels coming out next year. They follow.
I don't know.
Or
Maybe.
follow,
Yeah,
whatever it's
I
called.
don't
forgot
know.
about that.
Hmm.
Well,
So,
I
What
know that
about
there's
Scream
also.
7?
That might not ever come out.
Here's the other thing.
But
The
wasn't
other
it
thing is that like a
supposed
lot of these
to?
movies,
I don't know. I think they were
Okay.
casting or something. Then I don't know. We'll see.
anything that we heard about before the writer strike is in
True,
question about its
true.
date. You know,
Yeah.
so And then
Oh,
I don't know if you saw
I'd
this
like
one,
to mention
Weapons.
another one. Oh,
Yeah.
Did you
I
have
would like to
a movie
mention-
called Weapon? I'm sorry.
go ahead with
Ye-
weapons.
Weapons.
No, but I know
is
what
some-
you're talking about.
I don't know what
It's
that
by the
is.
director of Barbarian, Zach
Yeah.
Kreger, the whitest kid you know, and it stars Pedro Pascal as of right now. So that's the only other one that you hadn't mentioned that I wanted to bring up.
Sounds dope.
The big one that I would mention, which this is one I didn't think to look up before, but I was just waiting for it to get like a big release too, was Tiger Stripes. That would be one I would be
Yeah.
anxious to look out for. It won Cannes, maybe it won some big festivals this year, and it was Abby Fun, and I loved it, and it was still going. It was, I know toward the end of the year it was still going through festivals, so I don't know when that might be coming out, but that one was a really good one to keep an eye out for as well.
Nice.
We just
yeah.
have like a lot to look forward to, man. I'm excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even with the ones I've already seen that I know is coming out, like I know, hopefully we don't ever cover, but like Tiger Stripes has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Like I haven't heard anyone say a bad thing about it. So yeah, even just the ones, like I said, I had to take out 3 movies out of my top 10 from this that would be top 10 this year because they're not
Yeah.
wide releases yet. So 30%, like my
Yeah.
top
Yeah, that's-
10 is I know is coming out next year.
0.3.
And I didn't even put Tiger Stripes in there. It probably would have gone there if it had been released. So I mean,
0.3 out of 1.
I know.
Wow, Randy, you're good at
Whoa.
math things.
Whoa.
Things.
You know,
So that's
I was
like
Duval County Public Schools. You know,
killing it. That's a roughly 40 movies we already know is coming out next year, and you know there's gonna be so many more.
And we're covering them all, baby.
That's a lot. To
and
look
at least a
forward to.
handful of them we already know are bangers.
At
Yeah.
least 3, yeah.
to go.
So, and I feel like there's at least 3 more that you could put money down that are gonna fucking
Yeah.
slam.
If somehow Robert Eggers' Nosferatu with fucking Willem Dafoe as the lead is not good, then what the fuck is happening in the world?
That's
Then I
yeah,
quit
that's a
podcasting.
catastrophic fall.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
quit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Jordan
well,
Peele, I mean, like, I just have to assume that's gonna be good.
Yeah,
Like,
it at least
so-
won't suck, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it'll be all right. At
Maybe
least.
Alex Garland, you know, I mean, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of big directors are dropping some stuff. Tim Burton is making his comeback. Just
Tim Burton, big comeback for Tim.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Ty West, maybe that GDT Frankenstein would come out. That'd be tight.
Oh yeah, that Maxine's should be a banger. I mean, I'm just
I mean, I hope
assuming.
that and like this is not really in the horror realm, but like those other movies I mentioned, American Meltdown, last movie ever made, like there's some
Sure.
good shit
Yeah,
it's just
there's some really good stuff.
waiting to be distributed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I
Franklin
got.
Rich's next film, I'm sure, is gonna be amazing.
Whatever that is.
Artifice
watch it.
Woman.
He gave me the script the other
Whoa.
night, and it was like blew my fucking nuts off.
He showed it to
no
me, and I was
nuts.
like, no, let me change some things around. And, now
And then I
he's got
forgot
it.
about it because Bob gave me too many drinks. It's the most amazing thing I ever heard, and then I forgot.
I've heard
Yeah.
that Tenacious D song.
Right, tell it to Tenacious D, Jack Slack. Yeah, that's all I got for next year. Looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add before we close this thing out?
Honestly, there probably is something, but yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Probably something. Awesome.
My mouth
Well,
is
yeah.
dry.
Thanks for spending a whole another year with Straight Chillin'. I mean, we're in our 10th year now, which is
here we go.
insane. Episode
Christ
500
almighty.
will be here before you know it. Yeah. Cheers. I hope you guys had a great year. You have a great New Year's, and here's to a happy and healthy 2024. If you want to find us, search us on social media. Straight Chilling Podcast will pop right up. And join our Slack channel. It's awesome. We chat about stuff every day, horror movies, but also, we trade recipes and, pictures of our cute, adorable animals and talk about all kinds of fun shit. So join our community. And if you want to do that, just hit us up on social media and I'll send you a link so you can.
You want to see my ding dong?
Yeah, that's how you get 'em
And
on
there we go.
Slack. That's how you get them running to Slack. God in heaven. Well, until next year, as always, keep chilling.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.